The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Thursday, January 21st, 2021. 1/21/21. Go hang a salami. I'm a lasagna hog. Palindrome day. Here on Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. This is a sports show, and I'll tell you what, there's some things to talk about today for sure. There are some incredible statistics that have come out about Tom Brady. One in particular that we would like to talk about is post 37 years of age playoff experience. A stat came out on that is absolutely insane. That should be talked about. The University of Tennessee, over the last couple of days, it has been found out they're just dropping bags of money to recruits, get a little sloppy down there. Jeremy Pruitt gets fired. They're probably going to get NCAA violations. Rocky Top's about to potentially tumble down because of a sloppy operation trying to recruit kids. We could talk about that, and we will talk about that. Deshaun Watson, we'll talk about that. Conor McGregor's fights this weekend. Championship weekend, we'll talk about that. But it is very hard, okay, for me not to talk to you about something that we were just watching before we got on the show. Motor City Dan Campbell, MC, DC, had his press conference to announce that he was the head coach of the Detroit Lions, official head coach announcement. And it was a Zoom press conference, obviously, because it's 2021 right now. A lot of 2020 still seems to be very prevalent here in 2021. I thought once it became January 1st, a lot of things were going to change. It feels like a pretty same goddamn thing right now. But there is one big difference. And that is Dan Campbell is a head coach in the NFL again. And Dan Campbell being a head coach for the Detroit Lions is good for everybody. Is it going to be good for the Lions organization? I mean, TBD. That will be something that will have to be determined at a later date to see how this whole thing goes. But for us, and as football fans, you should feel very good that maybe the most football guy I have ever seen in the long, long history of football guys, okay? Football guy is an incredible compliment to a lot of guys that are in football, okay? A lot of coaches, you're like, I'm just a football guy. That's literally what they say. You ask them about anything going on in the world, they legitimately have no idea. You hear about these types of people that go completely dive into their work and only care about their work and everything like that. You hear about that. In football, it seems like there is a larger percentage of those types of people that dive into their work in the coaching community than maybe anywhere else in our society. We're talking about having no fucking idea what's going on in the actual world, only know what's going on in between the lines, okay? That's why it's been a massive compliment for a long, long time. Motor City Dan Campbell, the head coach for Detroit Lions, might be the biggest football guy I have ever seen operate in public in my entire life. His opening press conference was electric. At one point, he said, "You're going to knock us down? We're going to get up, and on our way up, we're going to bite your kneecap off." This guy is going to be fucking awesome. There's allegedly a chance we might talk to him in the next couple weeks. I cannot wait for it. I'm very happy that we get a chance to be a live daily show with him being a head coach in the NFL. Like, this is awesome. I think the way he's going to handle media is going to be one that people are going to look forward to. They asked him one question. He went on a 3-minute run that was fucking spectacular. It was a WWE promo, and then he ended it with basically, we're going to build this thing and we're going to do it the right way. And then next question, he goes, all right. The guy was awesome. No filter at all, it felt like. He said he's going to be genuine, he's going to be passionate. And here's just 1 minute that we clipped. Okay, by the way, he's still going right now.
Oh yeah.
He is still going right now. It is electrifying. And in this 1 minute clip here, obviously Foxy was very tied to it because it was his entire vision of what the Lions are going to be. And vision was something he talked about a lot. And now, granted, he said this in many different ways in other different questions. But in this particular 1 minute and 2 seconds here, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, I think you are fucking excited about the possibilities. And if you're not a Detroit Lions fan, you are excited about the possibilities. This is awesome. Go ahead and run that thing, Foxy.
This place has been kicked, it's been battered, it's been bruised, and I can sit up here and give you coach speak all day long. I can give you hey, we're going to win this many games. I can't. None of that matters, and you guys don't want to hear it anyway. You've had enough of that shit. So excuse my language. All right. Here's what I do know is that this team is going to take on the identity of this city. All right. And the city's been down, and it found a way to get up. All right. It's found a way to overcome adversity. All right. And so this team's going to be built on we're going to kick you in the teeth. Right. All right. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right. And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap. And we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing. All right. That's going to be the mentality.
I mean, who's going to beat that team? Whoa. I'll tell you what. No other team in the NFL is ready to bite off fucking patellas, dude.
No.
2 patellas getting gouged out of the knees. I dislocated my kneecap. It hurt so bad. Could you imagine someone bites that motherfucker off? That's the type of attitude that MCDC is bringing to Detroit.
Wow.
Detroit Rock City being led by Motor City Dan Campbell. I mean, this is just maybe the best thing to happen to the NFL in a long, long time at this point. At Evan Foxy,
yes.
The Detroit Lions, you've said this. If we're going to stink, at least let us have an entertaining head coach.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, 1 press conference almost done at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We're batting 1,000 up there.
Yes, we are.
This guy is awesome.
The Lions, they drafted Barry Sanders, all right? They drafted Calvin Johnson, all right? They drafted Matthew Stafford, right?
He's gone, by the way.
Hiring Motor City Dan Campbell is the greatest thing the Detroit Lions have ever done.
Oh, geez.
Ever.
Oh,
this is awesome.
All right.
Foxy.
And now I can understand what you're saying because now Barry Sanders, we just on the show the other day. Great guy.
10 for 10.
One of the greatest of all time. Calvin Johnson, same thing. You guys actually kind of screwed him over. That's potentially what the curse alongside Barry Sanders did this whole thing. Yeah. But Motor City Dan Campbell in 2021 seems to be a bit of a glimmer of hope for a lot of people that are Detroit Lions fans.
Oh my
I was snooping around Lions Twitter. They love Motor City Dan Campbell. It is being heralded as the greatest opening press conference a head coach has ever had. And Motor City Dan Campbell, by the way, in that press conference, alluded to how many head coaching press conferences Detroit has had to listen to. And he's heard them all probably. He said he drinks a gallon of coffee a day, and not every coach is going to be like that, all right?
He doesn't want every coach.
Don't want every coach to be like that. Ty Schmidt, are you worried this guy just came into the NFC North? I mean, as a Green Bay Packers owner, that is something to think about.
While Dan was out there babbling and, bouncing around, being all scatterbrained, I just said, I'm not going to lose any sleep over this guy. I think the Packers are going to do just fine in the Dan Campbell era. But
Whoa. You're already saying the Dan Campbell era is going to end. I'll tell you what, fella. After that press conference, I'm not sure we're ever going to see the day where Dan Campbell is the Detroit Lions.
Jordan Love does not stand a chance against Dan Campbell, dude.
I mean, he talked an awful lot about, getting knocked down. I hope everyone has as good of a chin as Dan Campbell has because, a lot of fights, you can't just get knocked down 8, 10, 12 times and just still keep popping back up. It doesn't always work like that.
3 knockdowns, 1 round, by the way.
That is
over.
a TKO.
It is over. That is what you're looking for. And he said he was getting back up, but this isn't boxing. Okay?
True.
This is life and this is football because I think he was referring to both.
I'm happy for Lions fans. Like Foxy said, I mean,
He's still going? Still going. Can we cut into that real quick?
Yep.
Okay.
Tap in.
Up to that, and so look, nobody likes that taste for sure, and there's always a lot of lessons that can be learned from losing. You just got to make sure that you learn them and you correct them, because if you don't, then you're destined to do the same thing over and over. Right?
Oh,
wow.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Lage, Associated Press.
Welcome back, Dan.
Hey, thank you.
Take me back to when you finished up the interim gig, did a solid job, but you're probably wondering, am I going to get another shot? And now to have that shot, take me back then and how it feels to be standing there now.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly how I felt. I knew I could do this. I knew this was something that I felt like I was born to do. And boy, there was a whole list of things that I wrote down is that I wish I'd have done this better, man. I should have learned from this. This would have been something that, had moving forward, I would have done. And so I can tell you exactly what happened. Sean Payton called me immediately, and he said, hey, I'd love to have you out here. Come out here with me. And I had a couple of other offers going on, but Sean's like, listen, you come out here, you be my assistant head coach, and I'll fill in all the pieces for you. I'll fill in everything.
He's been going for what, like 30, 40 minutes at this point?
Just getting started.
I love we can just tap in at Dan Campbell anytime we want.
But I hope we can do this all year. Nobody wants that taste.
Dan Campbell camera, please.
All right. I'm pumped for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
So am I.
If anybody can break the Calvin Johnson curse, I mean, it's that guy right there.
That guy will run right through that thing.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Curse doesn't want to fuck with Dan Campbell, dude.
You think maybe the Patriots missed the boat here because
On DC.
that they could have maybe had him.
It's funny you say that, actually, because while I was watching, I was thinking, man, the Patriots are in a bad situation, but at least we don't have that fucking guy talking all day, building all these things about biting patellas off.
Whoa.
No thanks. I'm not worried about Dan Campbell. Didn't want him. I don't want him when they go 3-13 and he gets fired. Won't want him then.
6-year deal.
Don't want him now.
6 years.
Okay?
I will say this about the Lions, and this is, Lions chatter makes its way into our show often, and I'm not sure there's a lot of national shows that do that. So I do appreciate the Detroit Lions, fans and the situation that has been up there for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But it does feel like there's a chance this could all completely backfire. That's what the internet's saying. That's what the internet's saying. Because, just the other day, new GM, what's his, Brady?
Brad Holmes.
Brad Holmes. He said this is not a rebuild, this is a retool. Dan Campbell, in one of the best answers I've heard in the opening press conference history, in the middle of it, just kind of dropped the thing. He said, we're going to build this thing the right way. We're going to build it from scratch. And we're going to have a vision for every player, and we're going to go. And it was really motivating. But then as soon as he heard that, I was like, ooh, build from scratch. We get Stafford in Indianapolis, or what's going on here? I'll be intrigued to see how this whole thing plays out with Motor City Dan Campbell. Here's a quote from new Lions head coach Dan Campbell and Matthew Stafford. I'm going to have a sit down with Brad Holmes, but here's what I'll say. Matthew's a stud. He's one of the toughest QBs you'll ever see. He's extremely talented, a team guy, and I know he wants to win. So I'll leave it at that.
He does seem like a Stafford guy.
Oh, yeah. I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
This guy has never asked to leave this hellhole for however many years now at this point.
Tough as nails.
But he did say his vision for the team is if you can't stop an outside zone, we're going to run the outside zone the entire game. Yeah. And on defense side of the ball, if you can't block, we're going to blitz the entire game.
Yep.
I love it.
I respect it.
What's your offensive philosophy? What's your defensive philosophy? Now, I have some ideas, he said, because I know it's working. I played there, but I'm not going to set these guys up to do something that they can't do. Like you're asking me to cut down a 2-eye or something. Okay, not going to be possible. This is an answer he gave today. I am genuinely pumped to see. I hope Dan Campbell has immense success. I honestly do, because I would like to see that type of press conference on a regular basis. I think at this point, and I hope he has. Yeah, I hope it works out for him.
I mean, we all know I am a spineless jellyfish who will adapt to anything. But I heard this conversation and I added the notifications. I turned them on for the Detroit Lions. Added them to my favorite teams list.
Had to be one of the only. Not the only. I'm sorry. Had to be not the only person to do that. I didn't even know that existed. Now that I have it, now that you've told me that, I'm thinking about turning that on. Are they going to text me whenever?
Yeah, they will send you updates to your phone. Yeah.
Hey, Motor City Dan's about to take the microphone. Yeah. Let's get to it. He's still going.
Oh, yeah.
This might be an 8-hour interview.
Yeah, he's not stopping either.
This guy is the best.
I want to know our over-under for next season because I'm hammering that over.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
After this, the
4.5.
sportsbook might say 12.
Yeah, maybe.
They might say 12.
They might say 4.5. I mean, the good thing for the Lions is they're going to be in the driver's seat for Arch Manning because they're going to suck for, 5-10 years?
Whoa. He's got 6 years?
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to get Arch the number one pick.
Hey,
sure.
There's a chance we get Motor City Dan Campbell on the show, and I'm going to let him know that immediately upon maybe one of the most electric opening press conferences in head coaching NFL history.
Yeah.
You just shit on him and say he wasn't going to be good. I'm going to let him know that.
Absolutely.
You're going to stare down Dan Campbell on that television right there.
Yeah.
And you're going to say, yeah, I said that. You are in no.
We got the same last name. He can't kill the same kin, okay?
Yeah,
so
he can. He can.
By the way, another
he
Campbell is Matt Campbell.
Yeah.
Who's the Iowa State head coach, which is potentially why he got the job because he said he put his name down his mat instead of Dan.
Oh,
What do you want him to do? Well, I stink without Tom.
no, I don't want him to say that. But
Are you getting into the impressions? Hey, Diggs is doing impressions. Diggs, you getting into the impressions game? I didn't know you were doing that. Cowboy tip of the cap.
You son of a bitch.
Motor City. Okay, since you mentioned Bill Belichick, let's move off of Motor City Dan. Let's keep him here. Let's keep him here. Bro, one question was asked, and he went on a 5 minute, and there wasn't like a drop-off button.
No.
It was 5 minutes of like
I
every
thought
wall.
22 minutes.
Every wall running through, just bang, 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 bang.
I'm so happy.
A gallon of coffee a day. MCDC.
This is never ending.
Hey, go get you a Super Bowl.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I like him. I want him to be good.
Oh,
No, this guy is. This guy,
Yeah, you do hear
this
that.
guy screams denominator. I just know that at the end of the day,
Connor, I'd like to see you and Dan Campbell in an Oklahoma draft.
You're just going to line these up.
Dills would kill you.
What are you going to do? One day you're just going to put on pads and have all these guys you've offended fucking come on through?
Dan Campbell plays tight end. I'm not a defensive end. If I were, then maybe it would be an Oklahoma drill situation here, but it's not.
Could you imagine? And this is going to be just for the show here, so I apologize to the listeners and watchers who maybe have no idea what we're talking about. Dan Campbell loves Mr. Smothers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
One of his mentors.
Definitely.
He's going to be the honorary captain at the Lions' first game. tossing the coin.
For those that don't know what we're referring to, I had to go to a city council meeting the other day, and there was people protesting our business moving into a formerly a church. It's been an empty lot or whatever for a long time, but for a good bit of time. And it's very big. And whenever, I didn't even know it was up for sale for a long time, but it's near my house, and I saw the for sale sign. And I was like, it's going to be too much money because it is massive. But I just did a little peek because I'll dance around every once in a while and see what it is. As soon as I found out what it was, wanted to buy it. So I did not know that what I was entering into, though, was an entire zoning variance because it was a church and everything like that. So there had to be letters written and a city council meeting I had to go to the other day and represent myself as a petitioner for a zoning variance. And then members of the neighborhood in which I live were able to come out and say they didn't want me to move in there. And there was a guy, Mr. Smothers, who, him and Dan Campbell are top two for podium performances in 2021, if I had to say. He hated the thought of us coming in there, so much so that I had nothing but respect for that man. Nothing but respect. He actually finished his entire diatribe about, in line of questionings, about why he doesn't want my business to move in there. And then he walks away from the podium. And he goes like 7 pews back in the video. We got the video, we found it. And then he comes all the way back while the meeting is moving forward, and he goes, "I'm opposed, by the way." And then walks off. I assume Smothers is a legend of a human. Made me laugh, by the way. I laughed I popped pretty good, and then I had to swallow the laugh because I was projected onto a television or a big screen right behind where Smothers was. I assume him and Dan Campbell would be get along just fine.
2 peas in a pod.
I love Dan Campbell.
So
The best part about Dan Campbell, too, is all he has to do is win one playoff game, and he's a hero forever.
Yeah, well,
Just one game.
Imagine how many kneecaps they're going to get, though.
Think about that.
You guys are absolutely going to love it. Okay, we probably have to get to a break. We do, because Tom Pelissero is on the other side. We'll ask Tom Pelissero about the hiring process of Motor City Dan Campbell. And we understand this is a national show, and we apologize. But some days, are mostly for us. And there's nothing better than this guy right now.
No.
There's nothing better than this guy. There ain't nothing to...
Because there's a mentality about it. There's a physicality about it. It makes you better defensively as well when you do it against your own, yourselves in practice. But ultimately, man, I want to find the best guy for the job that fits what I want to do and fits what we're trying to do here and could put our guys in the best situation to have success.
We have time for 5 more questions starting.
That's 2 hours. That's 2 hours.
Let's get to...
Oh, my God.
Not going anywhere.
How much sweat is he sweating right now? That's so fucking
Does he have lunch on the way? Jesus.
Good God.
Johnny Water.
It's 8th water.
5 more questions. questions. The Detroit Lions PR people are like, the internet is loving this. All right, we got time for 15 more. You guys are start thinking of some more questions.
Oh, that was beautiful.
All right, we're back on the other side with Tom Pelissero. Talk about Deshaun Watson, obviously.
Dan Campbell.
Zeno, what's your poll for the day?
Is Motor City Dan Campbell going to be the greatest coach ever? 48.2% says nope, and then 51.3% says hell yeah!
Nice. Hell yeah.
It's a lock.
All right, we're back on the other side here. Sirius XM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Got 5 more questions.
Lucky to be here at the Northrop Hall with the incredible crowd. College game day is having a blast here. Minnesota has shown up. Row the boat, Sky U Mall, go Gophers. Let's get the axe and keep that thing in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is about to lose their minds. Ladies and gentlemen, watch a man maestro a crowd like Coach Lee Corso. Give it to him. Give it to him.
Watch, now he'll say to me, works every time, what?
Every time. You just can't dog pee on a field. This obviously led to a nightmare situation for Luke Logan, who misses the extra point. An absolute pandemonium happened. But in Dwayne Haskins' defense, the Redskins and Dwayne Haskins might never win a game again. That guy's flexing like PJ Fleck a little bit. Good sell was a little bit delayed. He got me the throw. Throw the flag. Sell your soul. Who hates Iowa? A lot of hate here in Minnesota, Maria. Hey, you look good, pal. For me, right after we leave this octagon, I'm going to Lake Minnetonka. I'm pulling a swordfish out of there. Then I'm going to stop by Paisley Park. I'm going to pay my respects to Prince in the Purple Rain. Then I'm going to walk into TCF Bank Stadium, and I'm going to say, M-I-N-E-S-O-T-A.
A&M. Can you explain that situation and maybe what you learned from it?
Yeah, it was it was a bonfire comment. Texas was I went to Texas A&M, but it was a rivalry game for us, and so you're in front of the student body. I was 22 years old, and I made a comment about I made a comment I shouldn't have made, is exactly what it was. And, at the time I was, oh man, this was, thought it was, something exciting. And I remember I got home and who is now my wife, my fiance at the time, was like, oh my God, what have you done? But she was right. And it slapped me right in the face after I had talked to her. And look, I apologized for it. And it was something, I was young, and I wish I wouldn't have said it. And if I could go back, I wouldn't have. But it's.
What do you think happened there? Look that up. Motor City Dan's going on a ride.
You do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Oh, gosh.
Motor City Dad.
That's a little rude. Welcome back to the show. It is Thursday, January 21st, 2021. Motor City Dan Campbell's press conference is still happening up there in Detroit, announcing him as the head coach. Joining us now is somebody who I can't wait to get some information from about Motor City Dan Campbell. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Pelissero. Let's go, Tom. Tom, this guy has been cutting a WWE promo basically for
3.5 hours.
like an hour almost at this point, and they still got 3 to 4 more questions left in this thing. Was he always going to be there? I know I've heard like they wanted Vrabel, they got Patricia, so they wanted that. We've listened to this. Have you listened to his press conference today? And is this what everybody expected as soon as he went to Detroit? This guy is wide ass open up there.
I haven't watched the entire press conference yet, but I did catch the opening statement, which was very strong, I would say. Dan Campbell's been a guy who's been on my rising head coaching candidates list for several years now. They loved him in Miami, where, of course, he took over for a pretty memorable stint as their interim head coach. In New Orleans, he played a big role, not just in terms of being the tight ends coach, but he was assistant head coach. He had a heavy hand in the run game. He would address the team on a weekly basis. Everything that I heard about him was strong leadership traits. He came up in the Bill Parcells tree. The only issue with him was going to be he's not going to be the guy, the offensive, defensive guru who comes in and overhauls one side of the ball. He was going to be a program builder, a tone setter, a culture builder, and he was going to have to hire strong coordinators. So he's currently in the process of doing that. He has started conducting interviews on the offensive side. He's expected to hire Aaron Glenn to be his defensive coordinator. Getting those other pieces in place are going to be big. But to your original question, Pat, yeah, he was one of the guys who was very much at the forefront of the Lions thinking from the beginning. You know, they like the idea, whether it has to do with Mike Vrabel and not hiring him a few years ago or not. They like the idea of a former player, somebody who played for the Lions. He understands that market. He understands they haven't won since 1957. He knows all the different challenges. He knows what it's like to live there, to be a part of it. And you heard him pulling some of the fabric, of what you are as a city there. I mean, Detroit's been bankrupt. They've had to overcome a lot of different things. He's talking about the city and the football team kind of mirroring each other. It's going to take on the identity of what the city is. All the stuff that he said to them was exactly what they wanted to hear through the process. So very quickly, and they did a ton of homework on him, from all angles. But very quickly, they realized this was the guy that they saw as the leader of the football team.
Tom, okay, the thought that the 6-year deal, is that normal? He's locked in for a long time. We got a Lions fan in the building, Evan Foxy here, and if we look at Lions Twitter, as soon as they heard him start speaking today, they're like, all right, we're going to run through a wall for this guy. 6 years, yeah. Is that standard length? Because Caserio just signed a 5-year deal, I guess, right? Worth $30 million, or did he sign a 6-year deal as well? Is that just what everybody's banking on? Like, okay, 6 years is the estimated time. If you build it, it fails, you can start it over again? Or is it 6-year deal like agents are forcing teams to sign GMs to 6-year deals, 5-year deals?
Well, really the first guy to get a 6-year deal as a first-time head coach was Kyle Shanahan 4 years ago with the 49ers. He actually shares an agent with Dan Campbell, who also negotiated this deal here with the Lions. But increasingly, you've seen more and more longer deals. Matt Rule got a 7-year deal a year ago. There are still some head coaches getting 4 or 5-year deals. The general manager of the Lions just signed a 5-year deal, Brad Holmes. Cool. But the longer deal has become more a part of what NFL teams are willing to do. And the reason behind it is really simple, which is the more time that you have, you're probably going to take the correct steps to build things the right way. If you're willing to make a strong commitment like that, you're not just worried about we got to win in 2021 or else. You're going to try to build a culture. That's what they want to do. That's what Matt Patricia tried to do too. And listen, they've been through however many head coaches in Detroit over the past 60 plus years for a reason. They've not yet gotten that right. Dan Campbell is certainly playing to the opposite theory of head coaches that we usually see, which is when it doesn't work out with one guy, you hire somebody who's the polar opposite. Matt Patricia and Dan Campbell are both great guys in different ways, but certainly a different type of personality, a different energy, I would say. It's fair to say at the podium here.
I would say,
I'm not surprised everybody's loving the guy off the bat. Now let's see who he hires, how things work out with roster decisions, Matthew Stafford, and everything else they got to figure out in this offseason.
MCDC. still going. This might never end, this thing. This is awesome. Let's move along in the stories from around the NFL. Deshaun Watson. Hey, so you listen to one group of humans and they say there's no way in hell a team is going to trade their franchise quarterback. And then you listen to another group of humans who seem to have the connections to people who'd be making said decisions saying, no, they're going to move on. He's going to be able to get out of there. You've seen what is going on there. He's sending cryptic tweets out and posts out now. Pretty awesome. By the way, I love he just stir the pot, go ahead and keep it going. Jet Green, allegedly a video came out. He's in a New York taxi. He was on a 2, now he's on a 10. And then is there any chance he's not a Houston Texan in your eye? Is it likely he's not a Houston Texan next year? Because that would be a tough move to make if you're the brand new general manager trying to build a successful football team, having to get rid of a franchise quarterback as your first move.
Well, first of all, I would say that I am always baffled by how many people don't bother to Google cryptic tweets and realize that they're future lyrics. It's like things that white people misinterpret just left and right. So both of the cryptic tweets so far have been future lyrics. Obviously, we know he's not happy. Okay, let's start with what we know. We know Deshaun Watson is not happy with the way that the process played out for hiring the general manager. We know that he was not happy that they did not move quickly to interview Eric Bieniemy, even though they now have rebooted their head coaching search since hiring Nick Caserio. Here we go.
What was that?
So
is that Motor City Dan Campbell?
I think he's busy right now.
Nah, I just wrapped it up. He just wrapped it up.
They have now, rebooted the coaching search and they did talk to Eric Bieniemy. There's a lot of questions just about the organization and where things are at with Deshaun Watson. But, there's been speculation, for instance, that they've been discussing internally trade partners and where they could deal with Deshaun Watson. Nick Caserio, I can tell you, has not even had a personnel meeting since he got to Houston. His focus has been on the head coaching search. So, to the extent that it's already far down the line, that's not the case. They have not yet met with Deshaun Watson, which is certainly something you would expect is going to be part of the process here as well. And they're still going through that coaching search. They're still, looking at several different candidates for that job. That's going to be a big piece of this. I think there's really something to the idea that when you don't have a head coach in place, we tend to analyze a lot of things that we otherwise would not be talking about. Nobody would be talking about the vice president of football operations if they had a head coach in place. The moment you hire the head coach, that's going to change the narrative. Now, okay, is Deshaun Watson on the same page with the head coach? What are we going to be doing? You not believing it? What?
Jack Easterby is quite a topic of conversation because there was, a 75 scrolling expose about him in Sports Illustrated. I mean, I understand that the right, maybe like a way to just act like that's not happening is like, well, if we had a coach, this wouldn't be happening. It's like, I think Deshaun's problems with the owner and Easterby, and it feels like Deshaun's not the only one because there's a bunch of other people that have, who normally don't speak out, have come down from the top rope on that particular situation as well. And you're like, well, those are future lyrics. Well, okay, so why were those lyrics chosen then? Why do you think he was on a 2, then he took it to a 10? You think he was just feeling that in that particular moment? He's just like, you know what, now we're doing this. You don't think that there isn't real... You don't think that any of this is real at all, that he doesn't want to be there? You think just a meeting with Caserio is going to be enough?
No, I'm not saying that it's not real. Again, we know that he's frustrated with a bunch of different things that are going on here. But again, before you're making these big organizational decisions, you're probably going to want to put a head coach in place. You're probably going to want to figure out what is the infrastructure, what is the plan from Deshaun Watson's perspective. He signed a long-term deal with the Texans last summer. I think it was in September. We've also seen that there are star players throughout the league who have realized that there is power in the things that they say. There's power in the things that they tweet. That's, I think, lends an air of believability to the entire thing because we've seen guys like Stephon Diggs, try to tweet themselves, their way out of town, or Jalen Ramsey, among others. So these things have happened. I mean, there's absolutely something here. I would just say, pump the brakes a little bit in terms of this is already a foregone conclusion. Now, are people being told that within the league that he's not going to play again? I talked to a general manager this morning who said that's something that he heard from somebody in the league. From an agent that told him he's never going to play a down there again. But that's not been communicated from Deshaun Watson or his people to the Texans. The Texans have not sat down face-to-face with Deshaun Watson. The Texans still don't have a head coach. Let's get through those few steps and then analyze where we're at.
Do you think now thank you for that great answer, by the way. You speak to more GMs than we do, so I'm just going to assume that your information is is much better than ours would ever be. So I appreciate that.
Well, even the other GMs, it's a game of telephone for them too. It's, hey, I heard this. Like, there's a lot of things you hear.
Yeah.
Not all of it is necessarily true, but certainly, I mean, put it this way.
Has anybody
They're
had?
going to get calls. They're going to get calls.
Yeah. Has anybody called the Texans? Thinking about it, you think, in your eyes? Has anybody called the Texans, being like, "Hey, are you thinking about moving them?"
I cannot say with certainty that they have called yet. There's not a lot of trades that happen in mid-January, though we saw Alex Smith years ago get traded during Super Bowl week from Kansas City to the Washington football team. It's not outlandish. I mean, anytime that you have a franchise-changing type of a talent in Deshaun Watson, yeah, you're going to want to explore it as you head into an offseason that is going to have a lot of quarterback movement. Phillip Rivers is already retired. We expect that Drew Brees is going to retire. There's going to be other quarterbacks. What does Chicago do in terms of their quarterback situation? You got the draft with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. I mean, there's all kinds of moving parts. You know, Deshaun Watson, if he were traded, the price is going to be absolutely sky high. You're going to want to find out what that price is. But again, Caserio has not even met with his personnel staff yet to begin having these discussions. We've got several steps in this process that still need to take place.
Yeah, definitely a fire Caserio just walked into for sure. And I don't know if he knew it was happening or not. Get a GM job, it's a big job. But now the head coaching search you're talking about, Philadelphia Eagles also have a head coaching search going on. Feels like those two jobs might be tough to fill. There's reports. Who was it? Who was it?
Come on.
Nope.
Dan Campbell?
Who was it? Was it somebody awesome? Was it Deshaun Watson?
So no caller ID again. It's the usual.
It's rap
sheet.
Yeah, it's rap sheet and friends.
Son of a bitch.
Is that it? Because there's a report that Lincoln Riley said nah to the Philadelphia Eagles job. Not that Lincoln Riley hasn't said nah to other jobs in the past, but the Philadelphia Eagles, Houston Texans organizations, is that a place where a coach wants to, like, yeah, this is where I want to go. You know what I mean? Like this one is on fire. A guy who has a statue outside basically just quit the other day, and he's actually just going to stay on the beach for a week because of how bad he hated things are going. Yeah. In this particular one, our franchise quarterback hates the owner and Jack Easter, allegedly. Is that going to potentially be tough for them to find a head coaching candidate, or do you think guys just want to become head coaches, they're going to go?
There's only 32 of these, I mean, in the NFL. So I think it's different when you talk about college coaches, and there's, I mean, a half dozen at least college coaches who get a call about every job. I mean, why would you not feel out whether it's Lincoln Riley or a Matt Campbell or a Pat Fitzgerald, David Shaw for a number of years now? Like you make those calls and you just find out, is there any appetite to go to the NFL? But those are also deals that generally, if they're going to happen, they kind of get done in the dark of night. I know the last year we saw Matt Rule take the job and he was answering questions about it during the bowl week for Baylor. That's what you don't want to happen. It impacts recruiting. It impacts all sorts of things. So, I'm not surprised that people would make those calls, but that's not necessarily the metric of how good of a job you're talking about in the NFL. There's no question, specifically to the Eagles, that they've got some challenges in terms of the money they've got committed to some older players, their salary cap situation, what happens at quarterback with Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts, and how does that play out? How much freedom do I have to set my coaching staff to make quarterback decisions? All these are questions that you're going to have. It's a mutual interview. They've talked to, I think, like 10 or 11 head coaching candidates now. They've gotten through that first round of interviews, so I would expect we're going to see this ramp up in the coming days.
Who do you expect to potentially get that gig? Josh McDaniels?
I would certainly think Josh McDaniels is a possibility. He's a guy who, of course, took the Indianapolis Colts job very briefly several years ago. Did not end up following through on that, but he's been on everybody's radar for a long time. He has interviews every year. Certainly for Josh's sake, he's exercised patience. He knows that his second opportunity after the one he had in Denver is going to be really important because if it doesn't go well, there may not be a third. So he's had other opportunities that he's backed away from through the years. But, certainly it sounds as if that interview went well. It certainly sounds as if Nick Sirianni's interview went well, the Colts offensive coordinator, a couple of days ago. Again, they've talked to close to a dozen people about the head coaching job. What they've now got to do, and they've got a big search committee that's down in West Palm Beach at Jeffrey Lurie's house. I think they've got 10 to 12 people there on the personnel side, cap side, the owner, among others, who are all involved in this process, and they've got to work through that list and begin narrowing down.
Connor?
Yeah, Tom, are the Lions getting offers to trade Matt Stafford, or do you think he'll be in Detroit next year with MCDC?
Well, it's a great question because that's another team that just got a head coach and a general manager in place a couple of days ago, and so those calls would probably be coming in the months to come as opposed to already. The Lions have to make a decision on Stafford. Stafford also has to make a decision on the Lions. This would be, I think, his fourth head coach, if I remember correctly, from Jim Schwartz to Jim Caldwell to Matt Patricia and now to Dan Campbell. And how many different offensive coordinators has he been through in that span, too? Does he really want to start over? He's given a lot to the city. There's a very close tie to the city. To Stafford's credit, you had a team last year with an interim coach and COVID issues, and Stafford had, I can't even remember the list of injuries he had, but he had like 3 different things, torn rib cartilage and a hand injury of some kind. I mean, all this different stuff he was dealing with. He kept going out there. A guy who's made a ton of money in the league, and he continues to put himself on the field. I mean, that shows he cares. He's always felt a responsibility to the Lions organization, but those are conversations Stafford's going to have in the offseason as well as the team. I do not believe that the Lions are eagerly looking at this and saying, we want to trade away Matthew Stafford and just get picks. They view their team as a team that can come together with the right culture. That's why Dan Campbell is there. That's why Brad Holmes is there. But they're very early in terms of the evaluation of the roster at this point.
Tom, I know Antonio Brown got dinged up last week and that I think he missed practice, had an MRI or whatever. But have you heard anything about his status for Sunday?
He's day-to-day at this point, not on the practice field today. At this point in the season, you're not really doing full practices. They're kind of glorified walkthroughs. And so I'm not, ready to sit here and say that Antonio Brown is definitely not playing on Sunday at this point. He's been really good. I mean, the past month, if you look at the 4-game stretch, he's had 5 touchdowns prior to last week when he banged up the knee. What I can tell you is what Ian Rappaport reported the other day, which is that it's not considered to be a serious injury. The team says he's day-to-day. Whether or not he's able to get on the field tomorrow is going to be important. But, last week for the Bucs, Jason Pierre-Paul didn't practice all week and still played on Sunday. Again, you're not missing a ton in practice at this time of year. So if it's a matter of just, rest is more important than reps for a guy who's played as much football as Antonio Brown, I wouldn't rule out, even if he doesn't practice the entire week, his chance of playing on Sunday.
Speaking of not missing any reps, Patrick Mahomes didn't miss any reps in practice. He's still in the protocol. Was he hit in the head? Was it a neck nerve? What is going on? What are your insights there? Again. Who is it? What are we doing?
Well, that's actual news, but I'm going to have to call back on that one.
What? Is it about Patrick Mahomes? What was it? Was it the neck?
Not about Patrick Mahomes.
Was it that neck?
It's a coaching hire. It's a coaching hire.
It happened.
It's not a head coaching hire. It's a coordinator hire.
Dan Campbell's coordinator.
Where is it? Detroit or is it Pittsburgh? Where is it?
I can't tell you that.
Come on. Yeah, you can.
Wait, somebody's going to make a call before I'm off the show.
Better not be Hugh.
I'll call him back in 5 minutes, all right?
Is Hugh Jackson the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator, bringing his tequila down there to Yinzer, Steeler Nation?
Matt Canada is expected to be the Steelers offensive coordinator.
Okay. All right. Well, let's not change the subject.
They're going through a process.
Okay, let's get back to Patrick Mahomes and his neck before you break news. We appreciate you. Everybody follow at Tom Pelissero NFL.
Mm-hmm. Just that Tom.
At Tom Pelissero. It's not your fault. It's colleagues of yours that have stupid handles. Yep. Yours is not, you know what I mean? So that I apologize. Pelissero, that's SSERO. SSERO.
Google it. You come close enough. Find me.
He's going to have breaking news on a coordinator position immediately after he gets off of this show right here. Unless somebody else, because in the insider game, it is all kind of...
It could be announced any second. Ask your question.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I appreciate your time today, Tom. I appreciate your time, Tom. You're an incredibly nice guy. Kind of hanging out with us when news could be breaking at the time. Tom, Patrick Mahomes, did he get hit in that nerve that the Navy SEALs teach you to hit it, and it kind of collapses your body? Was it? What is the concussion protocol? He didn't miss any reps, but that also, we know, just like you know, it's mostly walkthrough, probably only 30 minutes, which he's allowed to do, I think, in step 2 or maybe even step 3 of the protocol. You guys are all expecting him to play, right? This is going to be a very... And what happened to him? Was it the nerve thing or was it the head thing?
My understanding is that Patrick Mahomes has been told that they don't think he actually suffered a concussion, that because of the awkward way that he was tackled, and I got in trouble for referring to it as an awkward sleeper hold the other day. It was not a sleeper hold, okay, but he got hit in an awkward way as he went to the ground, and what they think happened is that he had some kind of a reaction in his central nervous system that caused his legs to go limp. Well, we all saw it, okay? We all saw him getting up. And if Mahomes had come back into that game, I would just say this. If Mahomes had come back into that game after being pulled up, his legs going out, and he's lifted, all you would be talking about this week is all the people who are brain injury advocates and people who are talking about concussions, that the NFL is being irresponsible for putting them back into the game. The NFL, if that showed anything, it was that they have trained people, they're independent neurologists, the team doctors, that you're going to err on the side of caution here when you're talking about people's brains. So even though Mahomes basically passed all the tests, according to Andy Reid, he passed all of them, that they gave him for concussions, they still held him out of the game because his legs were out, because he was wobbly getting up. He's continued to progress through the protocol. The fact that he was on the field yesterday, at least taking snaps, indicates that he's already 3 or 4 steps into the 5-step process for return to play. The last one is you have to be cleared by an independent neurologist. Good sign, as you mentioned, that he took all the snaps in their walkthrough yesterday, but he's still got to go through that process and see whether or not he can actually get cleared by Sunday.
So what you're saying is it was the chopped in nerve. Yeah. It was that nerve thing right there.
It was a weird play. I mean, I've watched all 5 angles of it 10 times, and he never fully hits his head. I know Andy Reid initially said he got hit in the back of the head. He's kind of around his neck. It was strange, but I mean, we've seen concussions occur a lot of different ways. One of the things that they do that's good is they've got replay on the sideline for injuries. So if you get hurt in the game, they actually can immediately re-rack the video on the sideline, go back and see whether it was a knee injury, an ankle, or whatever, or if it was a potential concussion. They can see the mechanism of the injury that gives them a better chance to be able to diagnose it. Again, from just a sheer optics perspective, Patrick Mahomes not returning to that game, in my opinion, was the only option, just because you can't have that look that you're putting competitive aspects ahead of people's health and safety. The NFL's made great strides in that area. Mahomes missed that game, and if all goes well and cleared by someone not affiliated with the team, an unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant, he'll be out there on Sunday against the Bills.
Well, and Chad fucking Henne's a needle mover, too.
Yeah, true.
I mean, so not only was it the smartest, safest, everything like that, when you got Chad Henne out there like a buzzsaw, I mean, you are off and running. Appreciate you, Tom, so much. Go break some news, will you?
Sounds good. On it. Goodbye.
Hey, I appreciate you, Tom. You know, Pelissero does a great job protecting the shield.
He does.
Oh, yeah. He really does.
He's the best at
it. You know what I mean? He will come at you from a side that not everybody else will, which is like, oh, well, can we look at this from the other side as well, potentially? And I like that from Tom. I do. Sound like he got hit right in that nerve.
Yeah. The sleeper.
Oh, yeah.
What coach do you think got hired where? And by the way, he's just sitting on that? Like, that's going to be gone, isn't it?
Were the Rams looking at Raheem Morris for D.C.? Wasn't that one of them?
Yeah, Urban's still got to hire a couple guys.
Yeah, Urban still needs some guys. Artie Smith, I think, still has to pick his staff.
Doug Marrone got the offensive line job at Alabama.
True.
Bill O'Brien, offensive coordinator at Alabama.
Bama's got a powerhouse this year.
We'll see. Yeah, those guys both got run out of the league because they did not do well.
Barely have to coach at Bama.
But before that, they were good coaches, allegedly. But what have you done for me lately, everybody says.
Yeah. Doug bet on himself.
But not Nick Saban. Yeah, Doug quit a job because it was the Lions, wasn't he? Was the Lions? No, Bills.
Yeah. Hey, he went to an AFC championship.
They quit. He said, I'm going to greener pastures, basically. That did not happen. Went to Jacksonville. They stunk down there.
I went to an AFC championship. They beat the Steelers at Heinz Field.
Should have beat the Patriots.
Should have.
Yeah, then they took a knee because they didn't want Blake Bortles to cook.
Yeah.
Maybe Motor City Dan's made a play.
Yeah. Maybe.
During his press conference, somebody watching was like, I'll take the job.
Who's he bringing in?
Let's get some phone calls, shall we? Let's get to Dan in Vegas. This is Sin City Dan. What's going on?
Pat, I want to start by saying that I used to be a fan. All right? I still am, but I used to, too.
Oh, no.
All right, rest in peace, Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah, hilarious. Okay, I appreciate that. That means a lot. What do you want to talk about, brother?
So, you know, with all this, look, Tom Brady's good, all right? He's one of the best. He deserves his accolades and everything. But this week, they're just, you know, it's like he's back in New England with, Tom Brady, you know, everybody's sucking his balls like he did so good. But the defense, nobody wants to mention, the defense put him on the 20 to 30. He was starting on the opposite side of the field every time. Why is he getting so much credit?
Dan, great question there, okay? I understand where you're coming from. These are probably where the Tom Brady detractors or haters, the Mr. Smothers of Tom Brady in the world, this is their angle when watching the Bucs win. And by the way, whenever Tom was winning in New England, right, it was always the system and the team and everything like that. Now he's winning in Tampa, and it's the defense. And I think you're always going to be like that with Tom Brady, certain people, and that happens to all the greats. All the greats kind of get treated that way for a good reason, by the way, because you have to have good balance. Not everybody can be in complete agreement. Disagreement is democracy.
Ooh,
somebody said that.
Whoa.
Somebody said that yesterday, I believe. It made its way into my Twitter account. And I was like, all right, we got some big shit popping off in the world all of a sudden. But there's people that don't want to see Tom Brady succeed.
Sure.
And people are saying, okay, this is not me. This is not me. Once again, this is not me saying this. Mm-hmm. This is actual people saying this. Mm-hmm. And this is something that's happening on the internet. People are saying that potentially somebody that used to probably be pretty tight with Tom is potentially having conversations about his failure. Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Linda. Oh, yeah. Hey, this took over the internet out of nowhere.
Linda.
By the way, something you never think you would ever. At this point, they're like, I would assume, I don't know anything about Bill Belichick. I'm not going to talk about his relationship. But this Linda's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
we saw her in Minnesota. He was at a game. Like these two have been a noted couple for a long time, right? A lot of success together. Uh-huh. She was not happy that Tom was getting a lot of credit. Allegedly, on her Instagram, she posted some photos. As I reflect on the past year, I want to look at it as a time of growth, gratitude, and strength, and everything like that. And then somebody, Kathy Pellet, just comes out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know how Kathy and Linda know each other. Kathy comes out of nowhere. We do not know who Kathy Pellet is either, but she came out of nowhere. Too bad Bill let Tom go. Oh! Exclamation point. Okay, Linda's probably over there. As relationship, loves Bill. Team Bill. Mm-hmm. She has probably not enjoyed the way this whole thing has probably happened, and Bill has never said anything really ever about any of it, right? Anything like that. Then Linda goes to Kathy. I've about fucking had it, she said. I'm about enough of this. Kathy Pellet, and you have all the answers, evidently, question mark. Tom didn't score last night, not once. Defense won that game. Were you even watching? On the other hand, I'm happy for Tom's career. Why can't you be?
Yeah. How about that?
Okay. So then there's another comment after that. Okay. So very interesting comment there. And then there's another comment. If we could zoom in over there, somebody responds under there, says, keep it classy, Linda. Obviously, I love the people that come in with keep it classy. Like there are some real classy people in real life, probably.
Oh yeah.
Probably some bum here, by the way, coming in with real classy. You know what I mean? Like that's classic internet. If you do something that is not exactly how people want you to do, you're not classy. And those people that are telling you they're classic stones in a glass house type situation. But hey, that's the internet, baby.
That's right.
That's the internet. Keep it classy. Whether Tom loses this week or wins the Super Bowl, you should never take digs at Tom on social media. That is total BS. If you can't ignore trolls, then you should disable comments. Whoa. This guy or girl, whoever it was, knows the internet. Linda responds, I simply meant he scored with the help of his defense. Why all the fuss, people? Stop the nonsense. Can we all just stop and be happy for Tom for a minute instead of beating me up? What do we beat me up for? Let's put our swords away.
Yeah.
Let's be happy for Tom here.
Seriously. Point your guns elsewhere.
Which automatically led to people going, oh, you know what? Linda and Bill watch that game. And Bill was like, oh, of course he's winning. I mean, he hit the ball into 20 every single fucking time.
Playing against the noodle.
You're going to win. And it is an update. Linda is now a private Instagram account.
Oh, okay. Smart.
Yeah. All right.
Good for you, Linda.
Yeah. By the way, I respect Linda doing whatever Linda did. You know what I mean? I mean, she's with Bill all day, all night. Well, not all day. He's at work, but, all the time. That whole situation between Bill and Tom, when Tom retires and Bill retires, at some point we're going to get a full... I'm excited for it. Because when something like this happens, it feeds the narrative. Like, ooh, there was real animosity. Tommy fucking Foxborough.
And Tom scored against the Bucs. He had that QB sneak touchdown.
Yeah, but what she's saying is that Drew gave it to him 3 times in their territory.
Yeah, she's going high football IQ, but in doing so, kind of, slights somebody else.
Yeah.
Which, if you slight that person, you're that person, everybody's going to talk about it. Hour 2 is on the other side. We got to talk about it. Let's go.
Yeah.
If something happens one time, anomaly. Happens 2 times, it's like, oh, okay, maybe. But whenever there's a trend of 18 plus, 20 plus things being predicted, you got to go like, hey, Groening, the gig's up. We know. You're a time traveler.
Just tell us.
Bro, I just want to talk to you. I got so many questions. Siegfried and Roy tiger attack. Do you remember that?
Of course.
Do you remember back in the day how tight Siegfried and Roy were with their tigers? It was like every main story was like, oh, these tigers are the best behaved animals on earth, blah, blah, blah. Simpsons in 1993 said the tiger is going to turn. This little friendly tiger is going to become an enemy of Siegfried and Roy quickly, and it's going to happen. 2003, it actually happened. Autocorrect errors, 1994. Before you could even play Snake on the gray little box phone, they predicted that autocorrect will happen on your phone. Are you kidding me? Didn't happen until 2007. FaceTime, 1995. Not even a thought. I don't even know if anybody knew what the fuck the internet was.
Oh, that's
that little mark with the A and then the ring around it.
At?
See, that's what I said.
Mm-hmm. No,
what is internet anyway?
In 1995, they said, don't worry, you'll be carrying around a device where you will be face-to-face with somebody on the opposite side of Earth. 1995, they said that. 2010, it happened. Faulty voter machines. 2008, they predicted it. 2012, it became the forefront of conversation in a big, big way. I assume these voter machines have been up in question for a long, long time, but they just knew that it was going to come to fruition in 2012.
No, I want to vote for Obama.
2 votes for McCain.
Come on, it's time for a change.
3 votes for McCain.
The God particle. Now, this is the big one. Ty Schmidt did research. He said the God particle is the absolute reason why he is 1,000% a time traveler. Homer Simpson got up there like fucking Matt Damon in that movie where they have that
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting, and draws up this equation for what the God particle is, what is the God particle?
Yeah, it's basically this equation that essentially like explains how the universe was created.
And they did that in 1998, and the exact equation happens in 2012.
That's unheard of.
14 years ahead of time. They got Homer Simpson up there looking like that goddamn janitor from Harvard, solving equations up on a chalkboard, and 14 years later, it's like, yeah, that's actually how the universe was founded. It's like, wait a fucking minute, little comedy writer with the goddamn yellow cartoon, bro. That's insane. The NSA spying scandal. Everybody knew that the Patriot Act was like in existence, but nobody had a clue that NSA literally knows everything about you. Every dick you've sent has been seen by some government agency, but it wasn't always like that. We didn't know that everything was getting spied on, Sean. Nobody knew that.
I didn't know.
They predicted that in 2007, 2013 it happened.
No, Lisa, it's not like the government is listening to everybody's conversation.
Smartwatches, 1995, they said it would happen. 2014, they came to fruition. America's Ebola outbreak, 1997, they said it. 2014, do you remember when Ebola hit? It was literally
hospitals like shutting down.
Oh, they had people wearing like hazmat suits, carrying people around because they were scared Ebola was possible. In the modern world, this was happening. Years and years and years and years ago, Matt Groening said this is going to happen. The FIFA corruption scandal, 2014, they called it. 2015, it came all crashing down. Everybody knew they were getting their pockets greased, making decisions, sending a World Cup to a goddamn desert. Matt Groening said it's going to happen. It happened. Greece's debt default, 2012, they called it. 2015, it happened. So many countries out there, by the way.
They picked Greece?
The exact country to happen. Trump's presidency, 2000, they called it. 2016, it came to fruition. The Simpsons called this President Trump out there, and everybody probably looked at, those Simpsons guys are so funny. Bang, 16 years later, it is about to happen. It goes down. Lady Gaga Super Bowl halftime show, 2012, they called it. 2017. I mean, I think we all knew that she was born this way. She would probably get the halftime show at some point, but to the details that they had. These are not coincidences. Coincidenci. I don't know how you pronounce it.
How the fuck do they know this stuff? It's got to be time travel.
Matt Groening is a time travel. I have so many fucking questions. Disney's takeover of Fox, 1998. They said it. 2017, it happens. The Shard in London, which is a building behind Big Ben, I guess. Is that right?
Apparently, that's what Google search said.
1995, 2009, it comes to fruition. Robot librarians, 95, they called it. 2016, it happens. The censorship of Michelangelo's David, 1990, 2016, it happened. Three-eyed fish from the fucking nuclear waste place.
In Japan.
Three-eyed fish comes to fruition in 2001. Matt Groening did it in 1990. 9/11. 9/11. They called that happening. If you do recall planes going into buildings, they said it in 1997, 2001, it happens. The Syrian uprising, everything that's going on in the Middle East has all been talked about on The Simpsons. And then he created another show called Futurama. That is huge. He created another show like, yeah, listen, here's me rubbing it in the face that's where I could go if I have to. I have so many questions for Matt Groening, and guess what, Matt Groening? The gig's up. We know. I'm all in on you, Matt. And I'm a fan, by the way, aren't we? We're big fans.
I'm a huge fan.
If you want to travel to future me or current me or past me and say what's up, I think we would all be appreciated.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Hour 2 on SiriusXM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio, and YouTube. We'll begin immediately following this beat drop from Twine. Now that beat has dropped, the show shall go on. Tom Pelissero joined us in the first hour to talk about who's going where. Will Deshaun Watson be moved? He said, let's see if they get a head coach first before any decisions will be made. There's nothing but time there, but there's obviously some smoke in what's cooking. Has Tom Pelissero tweeted his breaking news that he said he received during the interview about a coordinator being hired somewhere? Everybody's shaking their head saying no. So maybe Tom Pelissero had to double check the single check.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He had to triple stamp the double stamp. He had to make sure it was real. Maybe that's why he knew that nobody else would break it while I was potentially trying to drag along the conversation with him, because those insiders, whenever that information is sitting in their brain, they need to get it out, because that's what they need to do. You need to break some goddamn news.
Smart to source your source.
Yeah, we should start doing that a little bit.
Nah.
Hell yeah. Jerry Dulac got us into some shit a week ago.
Yeah, he did.
I will say that. Also talked about the hirings of other people and everything like that. Good conversation. Darius Butler will be joining us in about 21 minutes. Cannot wait to chat with him about everything and his thoughts on the World Championship weekend coming up. There's some stats about Tom Brady that we need to talk about. Okay, so these Tom Brady stats and facts are starting to pop up over the internet because everybody says Tom Brady's the GOAT. Because he's won 6 Super Bowls. And he was the quarterback of the greatest dynasty in the history of professional sports when he was at New England. And it's kind of gotten to the point now where that's the conversation, like what he's done. And I feel like the little minor details are things that have maybe been forgotten about or talked about maybe years ago, but not really talked about as much now. So whenever these stats just start like kind of filtering their way out about what Tom Brady has accomplished, it really makes you go, holy shit, this dude has been doing it for a long time at a high level. For instance, there's this stat graph that came out from @TB_facts, which is, by the way, Tom Brady facts.
Whoa.
And these are the stats from Tom Brady since turning 37 years old, okay? You get into the NFL at 22, 23 years old, 24 maybe if you're a red shirt and a gray shirt. This is since he has turned 37. He is now 42, 43 at this point? 43. So this is 6 years or whatever. He has 14 wins, 3 losses just in the postseason. 5,544 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, 14 turnovers, 7 game-winning drives, 4 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl wins, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. In comparison, Peyton Manning, I believe this is his entire career.
Yeah.
His entire career. Peyton Manning's entire career. We just compared Tom Brady after turning 37 years of age to, now this is Peyton Manning's entire career. Wins 14, the exact same. Losses 13, 10 more than Tom Brady's had. Pass yards, he had 2,000 yards more. Total touchdowns, 43, only 6 more. Turnovers, 31, obviously a lot more. Game-winning drives, 2 to Tom Brady's 7 since turning 37. And Super Bowl MVPs, he had 1 And Tom Brady had 2. Then let's go Drew Brees, same to stuff, but even he has more than Drew Brees and everything, obviously, throughout his entire career. Aaron Rodgers, 19 games in the playoffs. And Ben Roethlisberger looks very good in this thing. But if you start breaking down what Tom Brady has accomplished just in his last 6 years of life, let alone 6 years in the NFL, versus everything, it is unbelievable whenever he retires, and we're getting to the Hall of Fame like 5 years after he retires, the stats that are the graphics that are going to come out of what he's accomplished and everything, it's insane. And obviously you have to be on great teams to be able to get to the postseason, right? And they don't count a lot of postseason points or anything towards the records because they believe that it isn't fair for every individual player because you could be trapped in an organization that, for whatever reason, can't get over the hump, a la Stafford, Phillip Rivers, and many others. And Tom being in the greatest and most winning organization there for 20 years obviously helps with all that because he has a lot more experience in there. But somebody had to be the quarterback there. And now he's back doing the same thing. It is unbelievable the shit that he's accomplished in the game of football. It is just absolutely fucking unbelievable. Now, I'm not saying that changes how this weekend's outcome is going to be, but Tom Brady's one of those ones that I think a lot of people have spent a lot of their time hating him. Like, I feel like you missed a pretty fucking good run here. This has been a pretty good run for the people that hated him.
The thing with Tom is they say, and it's very, very true, he has 2 Hall of Fame careers. His first 3 Super Bowls, his next 3 Super Bowls. If you take the stats, just like you saw there with all of those, he has 2 Hall of Fame careers.
In one career.
In one career.
Adam Vinatieri, by the way, same thing.
Yeah, Colton.
Yeah. All-time leading scorer for New England. Whenever he left, he gets passed by Gostkowski, comes to Indianapolis, becomes all-time leading scorer in the NFL, and another 10-plus year career. I mean, those are the type of people that it's just like, and Vinatieri obviously loved by everybody, and there's other people that have had 2 careers within one career. Anybody that's played very long has had that. But Tom, the amount of now, granted, Connor, you're in Boston, so you kind of were forced to watch it and baptized in that whole thing. Not forced, but like that's your team or whatever. You got to experience that whole thing. But there's people that just hate Tom Brady.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, man, no, he did play with balls that were underinflated.
Inflated. That's right.
I forgot about that.
True.
But it's one of those things. I feel like a lot of people missed it. Just like LeBron. Like the people that hate LeBron. Now, granted, he'll get his flowers or whatever when he's retired, and they go through all the stats, just like Tom will. When as these stats continue to roll out, and it's like, holy shit, he did what? In More Daily Show, we very rarely hear about Tom Brady's stats. Very rarely talk about his career stats because it's just like insane how many more games he's played than everybody else because how many playoff runs he's been on there. But just like LeBron, I feel like the people that hate him are just missing the entire thing. This is a hell of a run, Tom Brady.
Wild. And Tony mentioned like the beginning half and the last half, 2 separate Hall of Fame careers. You look at the middle half when he had Randy Moss and Rob Gronkowski, Wes Welker. Those years were some of his best statistic years of his career, and those get forgotten about just because of the Eli Manning upsets and everything.
Yeah, in Ty, Aaron very might for the next 4 years, 5 years, maybe even, I mean, depending upon, he seems to be taking care of his body, and we've seen what Tom's been able to do with his body, maybe even 6, 7 next years. Yeah. I think Aaron has a chance to have that 2-career thing. You know what I mean? Pre-LaFleur, post-LaFleur, if he stays at the Packers. Now, we know the Packers do not want him around that long. Like,
no, not
they
at
kind
all.
of bide your time here, pal. But there's a chance that happens for Aaron as well, which I am incredibly pumped about here.
Yeah, me too. I mean, obviously, you don't even want to think about him leaving and anything like that. I mean, that might happen again. We're not going to talk about any of that stuff until he's officially out of Green Bay. But
it's just hopefully never. By the way, the Packers could offer him a lifetime deal here.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, the way he's been playing, who says no? But me and Connor were talking earlier. It's crazy to think that like Devontae Adams has also been to 4 NFC championships. Like Rodgers has been to 5, but for whatever reason, it never feels like they've actually been that close to like getting to the Super Bowl since they won it.
Has Devontae always played like this?
Last couple years for sure, yeah.
They're showing highlights of it, like that Jalen, Devontae.
Yeah.
There's a little cut up from NFL Films because they had him mic'd up or whatever. The pregame conversation. And then they have these slow-mo shots of Devontae getting off the line. And everybody talks about how he uses no hands or anything. It's just, he is unfucking believable. Yeah. He's got shake.
Oh, yeah.
He's got, J.J. Watt and the boys with that tag game? Mm-hmm. I don't think Devontae Adams ever gets touched.
Probably not.
It's unbelievable and whenever you have Aaron, that's a great tag team there. I mean, that is, they could take it to the next, they could go and become They really could.
Yeah.
Because they're just starting to learn the offense, it feels like, the LaFleur offense. It's really starting to digest in there.
Yeah, it's been cool to see him get like the national exposure this year because everyone always talks about Rodgers and Jordy and like their connection and how incredible that was. And him and Devontae have basically, I mean, in numbers alone have already eclipsed a lot of that. And it doesn't seem like, I mean, it just seems like they're getting more confident with each other. And obviously with LaFleur designing the plays, like they're in a pretty good spot, I think.
Connor, you think you dive into avocado ice cream if you knew that it would turn you into what Tom Brady has become? Would you just start like your kid? Are you just going to feed your kid avocado ice cream
no.
and work on pliability?
I was thinking about it, but after the
Kiss him on the lips.
MCDC, I'll probably just feed him nails and screws and try and get him into be like a Dan Campbell tight end.
Smart. Bro.
You know what I mean?
Is that thing still going? No, it's over.
Well, yeah, he's probably doing it to the team.
Yeah, they
now.
just had a lunch break right now. They're back on.
No, the team is all, maybe they get an email or whatever, but the whole team just watched that.
Oh, yeah.
The whole team just watched that, and they were either like, okay, I'm going to have to strap up here the next couple of years.
Yeah, they also got the text from DC that said, hey, you better get into the goddamn facility right now because we're doing Oklahoma drills tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Start chopping them, boys. Start juju chopping them. What a time. That Tom Brady shit's unbelievable, though. And there's more rolling out on the internet. And I assume before the game, it's on Fox, right?
Yeah.
I assume the Fox pieces that'll be done will be awesome on the two, Aaron called it media porn earlier.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what it is. It's like the two guys, basically. You know what I mean? Like Peyton and Tom were the two guys there for a long time. Every time they played it, now it's Aaron and Tom Brady, the two guys in that conversation in that world now. They're the two in that world now, especially if Aaron wins another one or another two, which is I don't think anybody is questioning at this point, unless Motor City Dan can cause a problem in the NFC North.
Yeah. Watch out.
It is just the pieces that are going to come out Sunday with the stats and the stories. It is going to be incredible. What was that, Nick?
I was just wondering how many more tabs on that spreadsheet you had to go to get to Phillip Rivers postseason.
Come on. Jeez.
25 maybe?
Yeah, well, he got the microphone, and I started talking about something. He put it down, and then we went back into it. And he got back. He was like, if we get back to, because I could see him, obviously. If we get back to the point where I can come in and lay one in on Phil Rivers, I'm going to.
Yeah.
By the way, a lot of that yesterday on Phil Rivers.
One more about Brady. I think it said he has more postseason wins than every single NFL organization except for 4.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, on his own.
Well, with Bill Belichick, which is what Linda was saying.
Patriots are ahead of Tom at the moment in postseason wins.
Oh, my God. Do you think chip on the shoulder, pick 199 Tom is potentially, how much did that entire organization have without me now?
Yeah.
How many years I got to play? 3 more years? Let's go get it.
Yeah, he'll pass him.
That's awesome. Good for Tom.
Yeah, he'll have more wins than any other organization.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough with the way Aaron and Green Bay are playing in the NFC, But that Tampa Bay team, the way they're going to build that thing, I would assume they're not slowing down this offseason. I would assume they're going to say, hey, if it doesn't work out, which we all are betting and thinking that it's not going to against Green Bay because of how Green Bay's playing at the moment and everything like that. But I feel like Tampa, this offseason, they're going to retool. Yeah. They are going to bring in, if this doesn't work, what do we need? Okay, we need exactly this. And you're going to get OGs that are free agents that are like, okay, I'm going to go down to Florida, down there, no state tax, good weather, and we're potentially going to get a ring. Let's see if we can get down there and handle this thing. I think that's going to happen.
With the cap, do you think they're going to be able to bring back Godwin, AB, and Gronk?
So I don't think Godwin will be able to, because he's going to get paid, I'd assume.
Yeah.
No, he's going to get paid by a lot of people. I assume they're not going to be able to do that. Gronk is probably going to take a pay cut to stay there if he had to, right? Sure. Yeah. Tom Brady's his quarterback. He's been very clear with that. He almost retired whenever he almost got linked up with Motor City Dan in Detroit because Tom Brady's his quarterback or whatever. He comes back to Tampa to play. I'd assume that they're only going to retool. Literally, if it doesn't work this year, they're going to retool and add some things. What were you going to say, Dave?
Since 1970, championship game appearances, 49ers 16, Steelers 16, Patriots 15, Tom Brady 14.
Wild.
Hilarious, dude.
That's a lot.
6 wins to pass the Patriots and all-time playoff wins.
Yeah.
He needs 6 playoff wins to pass the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That avocado ice cream got him playing at least, 3-4 more years?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
He threw that ball to Evans when Lattimore was on him.
Mm-hmm.
That ball was humming out of there at 40, whatever. You look at a lot of other quarterbacks, whenever they get to that age, that ball starts breaking up. They don't have the dexterity, the hand grip to continue to spin it. Now, granted, Brett Favre can go down to high school and still fucking huck that thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pure arm talent.
nobody's saying that he can't do that. But what I'm saying is how Tom is throwing the ball, I think people are going, well, his yards per average or whatever, all that shit you can get into, the completions. Just watch the ball coming out of the hand, though. Now, granted, nobody in the history of the game has ever had it come out of the hand like fucking Aaron Rodgers does. I mean, that thing is always, it seems like that thing is always the tightest of spirals into the tightest of triple 20s in a dartboard every single time, it feels like. But Tom's spinning that thing, which is what Clyde Christensen said, quarterback coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Bruce Arians said previous to this season, whenever they signed Tom Brady, they said a lot of people are saying that his arm got tired or whatever. When we watched the film, we did not see that at all. And it's because they're watching those types of throws. How fast is the ball getting from boom to boom? Because, by the way, that is pick six city. So when everybody says, oh, he lost it, they're always comparing that to the deep ball. What's his deep ball numbers? What's his deep ball numbers? Yeah, but arm strength is also getting the ball out to the flat in a hurry while there's still a potential opening or without the DB jumping that ball, like we saw potentially happen to Drew Brees a few times. I mean, that is just how it goes. Tom is still spinning that thing. And if he's got 6 more games that he has to win in the playoffs to pass the Patriots organization as a whole for wins in every other organization, it feels like that's potentially something he'll be able to do.
That's why I think home field advantage is so important, like going ahead between these two teams too. Like, because obviously Tom knows how to play in the snow, but like in your opinion, do you think it's harder for a team like Tampa to go to Green Bay or Green Bay to go to Tampa and like deal with the heat and the elements in that way?
I think end of the season, going from cold to hot is quite nice. It is like okay, because you're already in game shape, full shape.
Right, yeah.
You're already in shape. You already got the whole thing together. Now you're getting a chance to go down south, and it's like, thank God we're down here. It's like a little bit of, I think, beginning of the season, going down south, I think is
more
tough.
of a challenge.
I think it's tough. End of the season, now granted, I could be wrong here. You got to remember, I had to run, most times 4 to 5 yards of play.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. Just at a pretty good pace. And then in the end, I was going to kick the hell out of that thing. So it wasn't like I had to do a lot. I think coming to the cold is quite a slap. You know what I mean? Because your body's already sore. All right, your body's already sore. It's the end of the season. You already got some, maybe potential nagging injuries. That's why a lot of walkthroughs right now. Let's just get guys the game. And then you go into the cold, and everybody knows, like, whenever you're cold, it aches, hurt a little bit more and things like that. Wherever you're in Green Bay, it's like, no, I've already gotten past the point that my body fucking hates me right now. Like, and it's already cold as hell, and maybe a little arthritis will start kicking up because of the temperature or anything like that. I think it's harder at the end of the season to go from cold to hot. And I would assume that's why whenever we see, I think it's harder to go from hot to cold than cold to hot. And that's because I think that's why whenever we see Aaron Rodgers with that long john underwear on, you automatically know what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because normally that team has been traveling in there, and it's like, well, you don't embrace the suck as much as that guy does, because that every single day for the last 3 months, that guy's been cold as shit.
Yeah.
You've just been cold for what? Since landing, getting on the bus, going in the hotel. Now you're out there, and being cold is a whole different animal. It really is.
Well, and if it's snowing too, we saw against the Titans, it didn't affect the Green Bay Packers at all. They were able to move just like they could, but
better.
Tampa, yeah.
By the way, and they play better whenever it's blizzarding somehow.
Yeah, and where Tampa, if it comes up and if it's snowing, they might have a little trouble with some footing.
Now, granted, Gronk, AB, all these guys have history playing in the cold, okay? It's not like they've never done it or whatever, but still, I mean, how easy is it to get comfortable? You know what I mean? AQ, we've already talked to AQ. He's like, he moved to Arizona once he started playing for the Cardinals. He's like, I'm never moving to the cold again. I was like, you soft, dude. He's like, well, soft. Everything's better. It's warm all the time. I'm getting out of here. He grew up in Pittsburgh where it's miserable all the time. How quickly can you get down to Tampa and be like, this is pretty nice. And then you walk into Lambeau and it's just like a smack in the mouth. Now, if you can mentally adjust that to just being, oh, this is just like a vacation. Like, hey, this is only for a little bit. This is just how it is. But that's tough for everybody on your team to do it. And all you need is what? 1 or 2 guys to potentially have off days because of the temperature. But that doesn't mean the guys playing cold teams are always going to be good in the cold either.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's guys that live in the cold that hate the cold too, though.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Tom for 20 years.
Hated it.
Hated it. Every single minute. Couldn't even be himself.
I'm starting to feel cold, by the way. I don't know what that's all about.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it. Not one bit.
I mean, it is icy cold in the studio.
You're still wearing a T-shirt in the studio, so you're good.
Yeah, but for a long time, I used to be able to just, like,
Eat it.
this isn't even real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I put shorts on, I got t-shirt and whatever, cut off, maybe tank top. As long as my feet don't get wet, I'm good, right? So I'll put on the Tim Allen Christmas Story, the Santa Claus. I'm sorry, not the Christmas Story. Santa Claus, the Sorel boots or whatever.
Those are nice.
I put those on normally, or other boots, and then I just wouldn't feel it. Now I'm walking across the street here.
Oh, yeah, it's chilly yesterday.
And I'm starting to feel it.
It was chilly yesterday.
I am starting to feel it. Am I getting soft? I am worried about me a little bit.
Do we think
Blood's
it's the fasting?
thinning, old man.
Excuse me. I don't need to hear that right now. That is potentially what's happening, by the way.
No, I think it's the fasting. Less food in your body, not enough energy.
I am intermittent fasting right now, by the way. It's working, I think.
You actually have more energy, Zito.
Yeah, you do have more energy. I do have more energy.
But like more food and more power in your body.
Yeah, well, more.
That's why
it's
a
like
bear
it's
eats
a bigger
and then they
hug.
hibernate.
More insulation.
Yeah.
It's like pure science.
I do believe it's potentially just, I'm getting soft, and I don't like it. I want to let everybody know that I do not like it.
We are in a little bit of a wind tunnel out there, too, though. When you cross, you're just getting blasted from both directions, and it was rather chilly.
Yesterday was very
just
chilly.
accept it, man. It's living, baby.
Yeah, but then you put the hoodie on, or the jacket on.
You're giving in.
You go somewhere. You are giving in that it does exist, I guess. That cold does exist. You are giving in a little bit there. But then I run hot, so if I have that on, I'm going to want to take it off. And then what am I going to do? I'm just going to hang it over my thing, and then I got to carry it around and then do the whole thing. So I've always just decided I'm not taking anything, and I'm just going to go ahead and grit and bear it here. Let's go ahead and eat this thing. And I've always been able to do that. Now I can't. Now I can't anymore. Now I'm walking across the street outside, and I'm like, I need a jacket.
You can always tie that sweatshirt right around your waist. That's a good look.
Yeah, never. I would never in a million years do that.
You're right. You put it over your shoulders then, kind of like a cardigan.
See? Those are things I wouldn't do.
You should try it out. It's a good look.
We should do a polar plunge.
I did once, allegedly.
Really?
Got arrested for it. I thought I was raising money. It allegedly happened. Allegedly. I was wet. I was doing a polar plunge.
That's
that
what it
night.
was. That's what it was.
How do you think of that earlier? Just whenever the guy asked me, why are you wet?
Yeah, the cameras are over there.
I was doing a charity polar plunge. Imagine if I said that.
They just left.
Come on!
We cut the rope.
How do I miss that? Imagine that written in the police report. Oh my God. Instead I said it was raining.
It was.
Yeah, we were in the middle of a month and a half drought at that point. It had not rained in a long time.
Smacked you right in the mouth. That's what happened.
Could you imagine if I say it was a polar plunge?
Want to be the only one to do it at 4:30.
Early bird,
fucking
man.
missed it, dude.
Early bird.
Great way to wake up.
I was at a rodeo. It was like Indiana has rodeos here,
First time?
So what I'm saying is, just like I missed the polar plunge thing, I started going to rodeo like each year there for a while, and I'd known the rodeo a good bit at this point. I knew what to expect or whatever. And this one lady saw us. By the way, it's a crew of us, and we are all full belt buckle, the whole thing. You know what I mean? Probably pissing people off, if I had to guess, but it's a goddamn rodeo. Okay, let's go ahead. There's miniature bucking bulls out there going to town. Let's have a good time. Lady buys us all, our entire row, a shot of warm tequila.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. There's no chance of me doing it. I don't care how cowboy I am right now. I am not doing a warm shot of tequila at the Indiana State Fair for the rodeo. I'm not doing that, okay?
Come on.
And she goes, is this your first rodeo?
Oh, no.
And it wasn't. And I missed it. This ain't my first rodeo. And I fucking missed it. I know. Literally, as soon as it happens, I go, no, lady, come on. And I just pass her on, and then she walks away. I immediately go, I just fucking missed it. I just sat there like for 10 to 15 minutes. I was like, that opportunity's never going to happen again naturally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It'll haunt you.
And I would never get that moment back. Now I'm thinking back to October 20th, 2010. Why are you wet, sir? Polar plunge was just happening.
Yeah.
Raising money for cops.
Yeah. How bad do you feel now?
How do I miss that? Sorry, I'm going to miss some other things.
How come you guys weren't there?
I thought we were raising money for you. Could you imagine that written? Pat then questioned us on why we were not there raising money for ourselves.
They probably wouldn't have arrested you.
Raising money for the dive team.
Just like the argon nuts in Morocco, the Bitcoin, I've missed, okay? Me and Gary V, we've missed on a couple of things. Mine much, the argon would have been billions.
Big.
Let's go to the break. Those fucking Moroccan nuts are everywhere.
Son of a bitch. It's awesome in the hair.
I got it in my beard wash.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, conditioner.
I know the guy. I met the guy. The Argonne nut farmer.
Good guy.
He liked me, I think. We could have had a great business relationship.
He was giving you an in.
Did he tell you the story? Like, did he just fall into the nuts one time and his hair came out looking glorious?
Bro, as soon as you get to Morocco, as soon as you get on, there's people with, like, hey, this is happening, this is happening. You go to a palace where the king lives. It's like a 2-hour trip inside or whatever.
Damn.
And you're driving through Morocco and you see Morocco and there's a lot of poverty, obviously, and then there's cities, and then there's the palace and everything like that. And then the one flipper was goats standing on the top of trees.
Yeah.
And we said, excuse me, what is that? And they're like, argon nuts. They're so good, goats climb trees to get to the top of them. And I was like, well, what are they? Well, it makes your skin better, your hair better, makes you look younger, makes your heal faster, blah, blah, everything like that. And I was, can we see that potentially? And the group I was with was like, yeah, we'd like to see this as well. We go into like the hills, we get into it, and we show up at this guy's farm, and it's like Napa Valley. It's just like this whole, just with all the argon nuts. And they had a little store in there.
Were goats there?
Didn't see any goats on trees. Felt like that might have been a lie.
Oh, jeez.
They kind of got me. Got the guy's number. I was like, Kip, we need to sell these, dude.
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch of people I know that would love to have their skin look better, their hair be nicer.
Yeah.
Entire country.
Everything. I got a lot of people that would love this.
8 billion.
He goes, you got it. Here's my number. Put it in the pocket. Got drunk and lost it.
His name was Kipper, too?
1 year later. Yeah, exactly. 1 year later, like a year and a half later, every single thing was Moroccan oil.
Yeah, argon nuts.
I'm happy for that guy because he was a good guy.
Good.
But God damn it, that could have been us. What's up, Nick?
Speaking of missed opportunities, I think Pelissero got scooped. Dan Maziano is reporting along with Jamison Hensley that Ravens D-line coach Joe Cullen will be Urban Meyer's defensive coordinator.
Ooh.
Wow. Joey Mullen, hell of a defenseman.
Yeah. Well,
Cullen.
stinks for Pelissero.
Yeah, it does. You
Potentially
lose.
my fault there.
No.
Anyways, Darius Butler will join us on the other side. Can't wait to chat with him. Argon nuts are the Moroccan oil that you're seeing everywhere. And know that I understand it's a bazillion-dollar business at this point. Ooh. And I wasn't right. You know what I mean, off Shane? Off Shane? Road trips, 3 Z's at the end. Oh, yeah. That could have been me. Let's get to a break. I'm fucking done with it. We're giving away $17,000. Well, if it gets to $36,000, we'll give away $18,000. 35,000 people watching right now. I have no idea why. Hey, we appreciate you. Hell yeah. Darius Butler joins us on the other side for some sports talk and some phone calls. Can't wait for that. Then, obviously, hour 3, we have A.J. Hawk and Demario Davis from the New Orleans Saints. Cannot wait to chat with him. Got a good show, I think, for the rest of this little time being here on SiriusXM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio. We appreciate you. Got 4 minutes. We'll see you then. Why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I'd get a good answer out of you, though. Like, I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it. And your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. If you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, you know, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who played for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why at times I've taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Welcome back to that show. If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you that run a business is tough. But you might be making it harder on yourself than necessary. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down no more. It's time to upgrade to NetSuite.
All right.
Stop paying for multiple systems that don't give you the information you need when you need it. Ditch the spreadsheets and all the old software you've outgrown. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place instantaneously. Whether you're doing $1 million or hundreds of millions in revenue, save time and money with NetSuite. Join the over 22,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/Pat. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/Pat, netsuite.com/PAT, netsuite.com/Pat. Phil uses NetSuite.
Yeah, Phil loves NetSuite.
Loves the business.
Phil's a big spreadsheet guy.
It's sweet.
Big
Love spreadsheets.
A lot of spreadsheets. I don't really know what's going on there. That's why Phil had to join me in the city council meeting the other day, just in case spreadsheets were asked to be talked about. I'll be like, well, turns out there's a bearded guy in this Zoom call right down there. NetSuite by Oracle. Joining us now is a man who's a host of the Man to Man podcast, played 9 years in the NFL, both at corner and at safety. Originally drafted New England Patriots, was teammates with Tom Brady. Played for the Panthers for a little bit, and then he became teammates with Andrew Luck. He's one of the smartest humans I've ever watched on a football field ever. Ladies and gentlemen, Darius Butler.
All right, what up, fellas?
Hey, UConn stinks, dude.
Relax. We took the year off, all right?
You guys did. You guys just chose not to play football this year, right? You know what UConn did?
Yeah, man, we made the right choice. We're not just money hungry, all right? It was best for the kids.
It's very nice of you guys not to be money hungry or success hungry at all up there at UConn.
we were actually losing money. We'll be all right, though. We'll be all right. It's a good move. We'll be all right. Got bigger, faster, stronger this offseason. Hey, let's go.
Hey, when you were on that team, there was a couple good guys on there. Obviously, you were Orlovsky was there for a little bit.
Of course.
Orlovsky was slinging the rock around a little bit. And I like the fact that you're representing for the UConn Huskies. That's very nice of you, because normally you come in with a different team you're a fan of, and it's normally news to us. Whenever you have the hat on, we're like, wait, we didn't know you're UConn. We know you have a loyalty to, so we appreciate that out of you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. We're reading some stats about Tom Brady here. Playoffs post 37 years of age versus other people for their entire careers. It is unbelievable what this dude has accomplished. And I know there's people that hate Tom Brady for whatever reason, just like there's people that hate LeBron James. But I think they missed a hell of a career, and they're missing a hell of a career right now. This dude's unbelievable. And we never get to see these stats, D, but until like maybe Hall of Fame comes out and then they start stacking all this. I feel like it gets lost in the GOAT talk. Tom Brady has been so good for so long.
Man, I saw the same stat last night, I want to say, and I was like, wow. So post 37 to all these greats, full career. I mean, that's why the GOAT conversation, the GOAT quarterback conversation, I mean, it's kind of disrespectful, honestly. It's not even an argument. If you want to look at, individual, obviously A-Rod, the passer rating, the TD-INT ratio, but, when it comes to the whole greatness thing, it's a team sport, winning championships. To win 6, go to 9, and then be in another NFC championship right now. I mean, it's crazy. You can't say enough. And I definitely don't think the GOAT argument should even be a debate at this point. I've seen it on a couple of talk shows today. Not yours, but it's not even a debate at this point.
Well, Aaron has a chance over the next few years because they got a team and a system. If he ends up staying there and in Green Bay, and that's a whole nother conversation to happen, where he can stack up some real wins here. Like, I really think that.
How old is A-Rod? What is he, 30?
37.
36.
Okay.
Turned 37 this year.
He's still got another 5 years, at least, it seems like, with him, right? And that team seems like they're at their best they've been in some time. Now, granted, they did nothing in the draft last year to try to help, or free agency, really, but now they have a chance to do it. But being teammates with Tom, everybody says he's a cool dude. As a teammate of his, is he just a robot? Is he what is it like? Is there any difference you realize from him, like in the locker room or in practice, than maybe anybody else you've ever played with? Because you were there, obviously, whenever you were younger. I'm sure you got a chance to. What is it like to be on a team with him? Is he just because he goes to Tampa, they win? Okay, he leaves New England, they lose. I mean, it's just so there has to be something here aside from players coming ring chasing for cheap alongside of him because how good he is. But what does he do to the entire place that makes them win? Like, what is it about him?
I mean, he just increases that. Everybody got to step the game up. Offense, defense. We would joke about it a lot of times. Me and Devin McCourty, the year we spent together, like in practice, whatever we went through in practice, we knew we weren't going to see that in the game. So it's like, damn, all right, I'm glad I got beat on Thursday, glad I got beat on Friday, but now I got whoever I'm playing against on Sunday, so we're good. And just when the offense was out there, I saw BA came out with a statement. I love BA, but he was like, oh, we let him coach, we let Tom do his thing here, like. I mean, I was only there for 2 years, but, I mean, the coaches didn't have to talk much when 12 was on the field. I'm sure it was pretty much the same with 18 in Indy. And he just kind of always ran that offense. But in the locker room, he was one of the guys. He was held to the same standard the other guys were held to. Even as a rookie, you come in the locker room, stuff is moving so fast. You're trying to be, seen and not heard. And Tom would make it a point to talk to guys. I had conversations with him as a rookie. We did rookie dinners and stuff as a team. So being one of the guys, I think, is a huge part of it. And being accessible to guys, not kind of, because how you get in the locker room. You saw The Last Dance. MJ had his own damn locker room. Like, he wasn't like that. So, I mean, that's big for a team's morale. And he's going to be an assassin. He's going to be prepared. And you always got a chance when 12's on the center.
When he did the interview with Howard Stern, it was awesome, by the way, just listening to him to kind of open up there. And as he continued to open up, more petals began to open up there on the conversation. He said, I love my sport. Like he said he loves football. Like he thoroughly loves football. That's why he is continuing to play and everything like that. Is he the most competitive human that you've ever seen? Because it feels like at that top level of humans, right? Tom Brady's in there, obviously. Sidney Crosby's in there, obviously. But then you go like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tiger Woods. Like whenever you're talking about that level of the uber competitiveness, Aaron Rodgers talked about it earlier this year. He's like, the competitiveness is everything. Is he the most competitive human you've ever been around?
It's always hard to say the most.
Yeah,
because,
I agree.
You've been around, that's the sport. That's the only way you survive. You have to be, ultra competitive. Obviously, he was talented. He had the the ability to make the big plays in the biggest moments. So that's what separated him. And, people would look at that and say a Jerry Rice or Serena Williams are more competitive. I don't think it means they're more competitive, just better. So I wouldn't say he's the greatest competitor. I've been around, great competitors. So I wouldn't say he's the greatest, but he's definitely up there. And he backs it up. The biggest moments, the biggest drives, he's going to show up and make the right plays, make the right adjustments.
He seems like he's in a different zone whenever he gets in the playoffs. He's played there enough. I mean, it's
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because his mindset seems to be, and I always, I think it was kind of preached in the teams that I was on whenever we got in the playoffs. Like, hey, 4 more games. It's always 3 more games. Like, all we got to do for 3 more teams is prepare. Okay, we got to go sell out on the field. We got to, eat right, go to bed early for 3 more games, and then you have a Super Bowl ring forever. It feels like he has that ability that when playoffs happen, something just changed. Now, granted, last week he didn't, I guess, have an entirely great game or whatever. And Linda.
Nah, but he took it, and whenever he was set up, whenever his defense made a play and put him in position, he put it in the end zone. That's what you got to do. And even over his career, a lot of people would say, oh, he's a system quarterback. He's a game manager. He's a this is that. That's what the greatest quarterbacks are. They are game manager. They manage the game. They manage the clock. They find matchups. They they get completions early. You see what A-Rod's doing now. He's getting the run game going, getting completions, getting in the rhythm. And then when it's time to make the big play in the big moment, you make the big play in the big moment. That's what makes the greats. They just do it over and over and over again. So for him, I mean, it's incredible. He's still doing it at 43. I can't wait to watch this GOAT Bowl, and on that side of things, man, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's going to be incredible to watch.
Yeah.
And also, Aaron could potentially throw for 600 yards.
Mm-hmm. You never know.
He could. Aaron Rodgers could potentially. And now, granted, he normally throws 250, 260 because they only have to throw a certain amount of time because of the managing of the game. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to take some time on this drive here. We're going to go ahead and do this. Then our defense potentially going to go. Then we're going to come out whenever we need it or whatever. That offense, I don't know if the Bucs are going to be able to stop it again. I would assume that they're hoping so, but they're 2 very different teams now than they were then. Let's talk about whenever you're on a football field and you see Chad Henne come in and do your eyes just get big whenever Chad Henne gets on the field, or you're like, oh my God, we are fucked right now? Is that your first thought?
If you're on his team or you're against him?
Oh, come on. Come on. I mean, Chad Henne did not deserve the burial.
No, that was a real question, man. But that was, I mean, hats off to Chad Henne, man, especially after that interception. I think that interception would probably end up being a good thing. Probably like, shit, it can't get any worse from here. He's been in the league 13 years. That was his playoff debut, I believe. So for him to step up, for Andy to have the confidence in him to go for it on 4th down, that's a great job by them, even by the GM, having him on the roster. You have a guy that comes in and he's played a bunch of games, a ton of snaps under his belt, no playoff snaps. So that was probably the biggest game of his career. But being the fact that he had so many snaps under his belt, man, Chad Henne stepped up, gave him that scramble, that 14-yard scramble, and then to make the play to seal it, man. Anything is possible. Hats off to Chad, man.
Anything is possible. I don't know how they managed to pay a 35-year-old backup quarterback while paying everybody else, by the way. Because normally that is like, they say, well, since we paid everybody else, we can't do this. They get Chad Henne. I completely forgot about that punt he threw for an interception. And the fact that Andy Reid, by the way, short-term memory, no problem. I don't even remember him throwing that punt. Let's go ahead, fourth and 1 game on the line. Let's go ahead and scramble his ass out of the pocket and have him throw a dime. I mean, good for Andy Reid, put him in that position, I guess. How do you see that game playing? Oh. Have you ever been in the concussion protocol?
Yeah, plenty of times.
100% chance. 100. Did you feel as if it was an independent process there at the end? Because right now,
it got better at the end. It did get better towards obviously the beginning of our careers. It was a completely different league in that aspect, in my opinion. If you were considered soft, if you tapped out of a game or you didn't play the next game because you had a concussion. What do you mean you injured your brain? We can't see that. Get back out there and make it happen. So it got better, after obviously the movie, the lawsuits, and all the other things. Definitely got better. But
what do you mean
when Patrick went down, I knew without a shadow of doubt he'll be out here championship weekend, whether he had a concussion or not. Concussion, COVID, didn't matter. He'd be out there. Let's be honest.
Colin Cowherd was calling for them to postpone the game. I mean, that's a big deal. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, that is the
NFL. Ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
The NFL, I agree completely. But the NFL, whenever this whole COVID thing was popping off, and they're tightening up the protocols for the playoffs, The reason why they were tightening up the protocols for playoffs, they're like, what if fucking Tom, Aaron, or Patrick Mahomes get it? What are we going to do? Yeah. Fucking lock it up. And now it's not COVID. It's a concussion, though, with Patrick Mahomes. The NFL has, I assume, as soon as they see him go, there was a lot of people there that were like, no, hold his ass up right there. We do not need that.
What would you do if you're the commish? Would you postpone it if he can't play until Tuesday?
With a concussion, no. If it was COVID, though, I'll tell you what, that would be an interesting conversation. I wouldn't say postpone it, right? I wouldn't say that, but it would have to. Agree. It would be the conversation, though. You know what I mean? Like that would be the conversation that would happen. How do you see that game playing out? Chiefs just have this ability to win. They just win games. They never cover. Okay, and you're getting into gambling, obviously, so you realize they never ever cover. It's always like they'll win, but they don't cover. I assume the large majority of us have lost a lot of motherfucking money on these goddamn Kansas City Chiefs. But this weekend, playing against the Bills have also been doing the same damn thing here, by the way. They've been winning games whenever they have to. Getting 3 points on the road in Kansas City. How do you feel about the Bills? How do you feel about the Chiefs?
Man, I've been heavy on the Bills probably the last 5-6 weeks. I think I'm gonna stick with them. And Mahomes, I'm more concerned about that toe than honestly his concussion. The concussion thing was weird. You didn't see the hit to the head. It was just kind of weird. So I think he'll be fine from that standpoint. But definitely concerned with the toe. Obviously, they do some things moving out of the pocket, and he does some, improv things, moving out of the pocket, making throws, making runs. You saw the incredible run he had last year in the playoffs. So I think Josh Allen edges him out in this one. Leslie Frazier's been doing a great job on that defense with the Bills as well. They got great communicators back there on defense, which I think is so important, especially for Andy Reid coach team, because he does so much to challenge the edges and challenge the defense's, integrity and rules. So I think the Bills edge them out, man. But
really,
really, the defending champs, man. Both you got Pat Mahomes, you got Honey Badger, you got guys out there who've been there, done that. But I'm gonna take Buffalo with those points this week.
How do you feel about the outside option or whatever with a broken toe called in the game?
Yeah.
Then he got hurt.
Yeah. He was already gimpy at that point. They got away with it earlier under center when he scored the touchdown. But I mean, that's your guy, man. That's the franchise. That's best quarterback in the league. Well, second best this year, but best quarterback in the league pretty much. You want to protect that. You want to protect him. So I think it was a bad call in that situation.
All right, we have some breaking news. Let's go ahead and pivot towards that. Ex-Washington football team first round bust, Dove Kleiman announces. QB Dwayne Haskins has a new home, signing with the Steelers per Albert Breer. So we saw Dwayne Haskins was working out with the Steelers this morning. People were wondering, is this obviously to add depth or for competition at the backup? I believe Tomlin potentially has the same agent as him, so he might have more information on what's going on behind the scenes with Dwayne Haskins and everything like that, as opposed to an overall narrative or whatever. But if the Steelers can make Dwayne Haskins into the player that he could have been or could be, I think that'd be good for old Dwayne Haskins and good for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Don't have Mason Rudolph jogging out there.
For sure. That's a good spot for him. Tomlin's a good coach. He's a great leader of men from everybody that I've spoken to that's been a part of that organization. I honestly think with Dwayne, it's just as much off the field stuff as it is, on the field. So as long as he got to get that stuff together, man. You got to be a pro. I think that would be a good situation, a good environment for him. Hopefully, he turns it around. And obviously, they're going to need some answers when Ben finally moves on. So we'll see how it shakes out.
Deshaun Watson. How do you feel? What do you think? You think he's going to move? You think Caserio going down there? He's praying with Jack Easterby, Cal McNair. They're all in their little prayer circles.
How does Easterby still have a job, man?
Whoa. You don't like Jesus?
It's the hand of God.
Who is this?
This son of a bitch doesn't like Jesus Christ. Come on. You hate Jesus Christ?
Look, man. Don't put that on me.
No, yeah. That's what you put on yourself, pal.
I'm talking about Easterby. Whenever Andre Johnson comes out and speaks like that, and other guys in these stories, man, like you got to make that type of move. And Deshaun, he's posting all these cryptic lyrics and messages, and we're piecing stuff together. I think it's looking more and more like he's going to move. But for Nick, obviously he'll have to get a king's ransom for him. He's coming from an organization where no one player is bigger than the organization. So you can't have a guy in the locker room that's disgruntled, but you got to make the right move for the team, for the organization. Tough spot for Nick to be in, man. Tough spot. But before before we move on, bro, I saw you getting so hyped and gassed up about this Dan Campbell hire and this Dan Campbell freaking
DC
no Judge Award this year.
Say it, D-boy.
For freaking press conferences. Y'all getting riled up over it. Pat, I know you for a long time. You've never been a rah-rah speech guy, man. I was shocked to see you so jacked up about it. But what's going on, man?
Hey, Darius, I think those who know me know exactly what was happening while I was speaking there. I think everybody that knows me knows how I view this situation and how it's going to turn out. I think everybody knows that.
Is Foxy excited about it?
I'm so fired up. This is the best thing the Lions have ever done, D-Bud.
Bro, my fake enthusiasm for that guy on a day-to-day basis
You're gonna bite the other kneecap. Come on, bro.
Attaboy.
Some quality walkthroughs. Get some guys in the building that can turn the damn organization.
Quality walkthroughs.
3 decades. Pay Calvin. Pay Barry.
Bro, imagine walking out of that team meeting room, by the way, going in the locker room. I would have loved to have been like, we're going to fucking bite kneecaps. Yeah. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
I mean, hey, it's good.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Darius.
Former Dolphins coach. I mean, I want him to do great.
Yeah, we forgot about that. His title outside of his office, Dan Campbell, head coach / the dude.
Love it.
Let's go. MCDC, dude.
Ooh, it's going to be interesting. Hope he turns it around up there in Detroit, man. Yeah. Blue collar town.
There's not enough coffee in Detroit to turn things around.
Darius, he drinks a gallon of coffee a day, he said, and not every other coach has to do that. Good call, Gumpy. Will you please run this clip real quick? I think we have time for this. Darius, you need to hear this now that I think about it. Now that you're talking about Motor City, you need to hear this, all right, for your day, for your life, and just apply this to your everyday life, Darius, as opposed to just football. Please, MCDC, please.
This place has been kicked, it's been battered, it's been bruised, and I can sit up here and give you coach speak all day long. I can give you, hey, we're going to win this many games. I can't. But none of that matters, and you guys don't want to hear it anyway. You've had enough of that shit. So
but here it
excuse
comes.
my language. All right. Here's what I do know, is that this team is going to take on the identity of this city. All right, and this city's been down, and it found a way to get up. All right, it's found a way to overcome adversity. All right, and so this team's going to be built on. We're going to kick you in the teeth. Wow. All right, and when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you, and when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right, and we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right, and on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing. All right, that's going to be the mentality.
Darius, can't stand with no kneecaps, pal. That is science.
Man. Intense, man. Hey, good luck to Dan Campbell, Detroit Lions organization, man. Good luck to you guys, man. I mean, seems like a great guy. He's fired up. He's all in.
Just say it.
I don't know why people don't like Dan Campbell.
Just say it.
Who doesn't like it? Darius doesn't. Connor doesn't.
Whoa, no.
I wish him the best.
These New England guys
Wish
don't
him
like
the
Dan
best.
Campbell.
I was. That question was to you, Pat. Now that I know, okay, it was some fun. Okay, now it makes sense. But when you see clips in media, it can get a little distorted. I was like, whoa.
I mean, you knew. I mean, as soon as you heard what I was saying, you knew exactly.
Sure, man.
You knew exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, Darius Butler, thank you. Man to Man podcast, everything DB. He knew immediately. Well, my old teammates probably. Fucking McAfee. Walking out of that team meeting room, by the way. Like, we're fucking getting it, boy.
Get ready to eat.
Hey, MCDC, huh? Let's go. Darius and I used to find ourselves in the back of huddles while people were giving motivational speeches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty good, pretty hilarious conversations back here. He said, we're going to do what? Darius, you fucking need to do what this guy's saying. Oh, my God. The prayers, too.
Ooh.
Because, whenever prayers happen, I have my eyes open. Mm-hmm. Just want to kind of enjoy the show,
See Jesus.
Bingo. And offense on one side, defense on the other side, and then we kind of just mingle in there. And whenever you don't have your eyes closed during the prayer, you kind of like look around and you see who else does it. And it was always like me and Darius just staring at each other in the middle. Amen. Let's go to work out.
Let's go, boys.
Motor City, Dan Campbell, dude. I assume a lot of people are going to have his reaction, my reaction. Is that going to work in the NFL? We shall see. How about Urban Meyer work in the NFL? Well, he just hired an offensive coordinator, allegedly, defense coordinator, whatever the case. Hour 3 with A.J. Hawk and Demario Davis is on the other side. You got 6 minutes. Go ahead and take a shit.
Trick shot challenge. Balcony. Yep.
Next!
Trick shot challenge. Half court shot.
No problem. Matt, what, Foxy? These are fun games. These are fun little games.
What we want. You did it.
Trick shot. Throw that football. Hoop.
Easy game. What's next, Foxy?
Got a trick shot for you. Drop kick into the net. Trick shot challenge. Into the bucket.
By the way, I'm standing.
Hold on, let me go over here.
Watch that back, you know.
That's a good toss.
You gotta watch behind it for all that shit. What's next, brother? Got any more brain busters? I mean, I'm not sure it's better because we're in a building, but I have to keep it below the lights, below our air venter thing that broke and caught on fire yesterday. You can't go outside because it's a torrential downpour, so let's give it a go. In Indianapolis, Indiana. With the shot. Let's go! Trino!
Trick shot challenge. 4 bags in a row.
That's a corner. It's not a trick shot. What's next? Cakewalk. How's it done? How's it done? You know what I mean? Well, I took the top off and he's going to come in. Bingo! What a shot!
I had to put a little arch on it.
Number 2 pick in the NFL draft for a reason. Guy can spin it!
Pretty big breaking news.
Oh, no. What's that? Oh, he got that! Oh, he got that! He got that! to a goddamn break. Can't happen. Can't win with it. Everything I just said was wrong.
It would have been cool though if it was
Yeah, it would have been cool, wouldn't it? Diggs just got a darn Schefter.
Oh my It was at Ultra Weed Hater.
He
got Cockiner. What was it doing on my timeline?
Bro, McCockner's just jujuing on me.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show. Just heard that open. Said that I'm relatable.
Yeah.
There's nothing more relatable than somebody telling you that they're relatable. You know what I mean?
True.
Hour 3 of this relatable show. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. That's the first time I've really heard that part and gone, that's not relatable at all. I don't know if I would want to hear somebody say that. Anyways, welcome back to said show here on SiriusXM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio. We'll be joined by Demario Davis in a couple moments. AJ Hawk is currently with us. AJ? AJ, we have some breaking news before we talk to this stud on the defense of the New Orleans Saints. Nick Sirianni, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator for the Colts. I thought he was a quarterback coach. Offensive coordinator for the Colts. Nick Sirianni is going to be the head coach, basically, of the Philadelphia Eagles. Contract has not been signed, but now the 39-year-old Sirianni becomes the lead man in Philadelphia. He started getting interviews a couple days ago. Everybody thought, Carson Wentz needs to leave Philadelphia and come to Indianapolis because Frank Reich is the head coach of Indianapolis. And Frank Reich and Carson Wentz had great success together. Now the Philadelphia Eagles said, well, if they're not going to fire Frank over there, at least we'll take the offensive coordinator who's similar to him. Nick Sirianni, offensive coordinator of the Colts, is now with the Philadelphia Eagles as the head coach. I wonder how those meetings went. How much control he'll have. Congrats to him. Congrats to the Eagles on finding a head coach, AJ.
Yeah, and Houston is the lone team, right, without a head coach?
Yeah, and who knows who's going to get that player. Pelissero said, there's only 32 jobs. Guys are going to want jobs, right? These are things that are going to happen and whatever. And he said that the Deshaun Watson situation obviously won't be handled until the head coach is hired. So they are the only place. To be honest, I thought it was going to be difficult to find a head coach, but now they got the offense coordinator here out of Indianapolis. Good for Sirianni, and that means Carson Wentz for sure, right? That's what that means.
Yeah, you would think bringing in an offensive-minded young guy, you're thinking, hey, you're gonna make Carson Wentz like what he once was.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do with Jalen, you think?
I don't know. Get him ready as well. Like, that's going to be a weird room. How do you keep them both around?
I have no idea, because the moves are always the first thing, and then you talk like, oh, now we got humans here as well. Now we got to deal with the human aspect of this thing. How will this whole thing play out? I don't know much about Sirianni. I thought he was just quarterback coach. Turns out he's offense coordinator. Yeah. I've been a Colts fan, obviously, for as long as I possibly can. But so that's a very interesting situation. Did you see Motor City Dan Campbell's press conference this morning, AJ? And did you see me and Darius Butler talking about it a little bit? I assume you have similar reactions. That is going to be a place where special football players are going to have to go to. There's going to be a certain cloth of football players, I think, that are going to go to Detroit. And if they get all those guys in there to row the boat in the same direction, in the Motor City Dan Campbell direction, he's up there, they're rowing in there. I'll tell you what, Detroit could be a problem. But it also could potentially be a problem building that culture that he said they're going to build from scratch with a vision of Motor City Dan Campbell.
Well, the sad thing, though, is when you hear Motor City Dan Campbell talk, Matt Stafford is the exact guy you want if you have Dan Campbell as your head coach. Think about a guy that plays through his broken back and all kind of injuries and can still sling it. Like, it's unbelievable.
And he had a broken neck, I think, at one point. The thing about Matthew Stafford, though, is when Dan Campbell was describing the offense he's going to run, he said, if they can't stop the outside zone, we're just going to run the outside zone the whole game. If they can't cover the X or the H, or they're sitting into they're not rolling coverage, we're going to throw to him the entire game. He said, so whenever you ask what my offensive scheme is, we're going to put our best on your worst, I believe is his exact words. Yeah. And that's every single. Matthew Stafford is a guy that can sling it, can hand it off, obviously, can command a team in a huddle. Maybe he is the guy that gets trapped into the Detroit Lions organization for the rest of his entire career because of how natural of a fit it will be with the new head coach and the dude. You know what I mean, AJ? The dude.
I saw that. Is that a real thing?
Yep.
Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
It's real.
It's real.
Good for him. I love it, man. I love what Dan Campbell's doing, bringing some passion, I guess, to the head coaching position.
If you were on that team and he delivers a first team meeting like that press conference, okay, obviously, as walking out of team meeting into locker room, what is your exact reaction?
I would probably go directly to the weight room, start doing some neck and some shrugs to make sure I was fully capable of handling the practices. But you know what? Like I would be a little bit anxious, nervous, scared, and also excited at the same time because I think when if you're Dan Campbell's guy, like you would do anything for him. He seems to be that kind of person.
And I would assume, by the way, he would do anything for you at this point. What was that?
The Haskins signing is now official.
Oh, okay, so they've officially put ink to
one-year
paper.
deal.
Okay, one-year deal. Steelers, and I think Dove had that one before Chef did. Did Dove break news before the newsbreakers? That would be wild. Dan Campbell, the thought of them succeeding is awesome because him getting a press conference and it growing and growing. The thought of them going the opposite direction, I'm intrigued to see how that whole thing plays out because he will definitely be a guy like Tomlin to go, we suck, all right? This football team, you know how I said we'd eat patellas? We're not feasting at all. We're getting knocked down. We're crawling back up, and guess what? Another one's coming. But at some points, this year didn't work out how we thought. Like, that is potentially how this goes. Or it goes the complete opposite direction. We're building a culture. We're still getting our guys. Every game is something, Fox.
That speech after his first win is going to be so good. I just cannot wait for that moment.
Oh, he's going to give a game ball to the new owner.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get a game ball. There's going to be game balls everywhere. That's going to be awesome.
I would assume AJ would be a big Dan Campbell guy, though. That's kind of who Dan Campbell's looking for, is a bunch of AJ Hawks.
I am. I think I am a Dan Campbell guy. I mean, Dan Campbell reminds me of my high school coaches, but they just weren't they didn't say it as much to the public, but they said that kind of stuff to us. Like, yeah, he's a guy that, although I know it would be tough, it wouldn't be the easiest place to play, I think he makes dudes better and he makes them tougher.
Well, I saw an entire clip about a tight end who wasn't blocking down the field when somebody else had the ball. And Dan Campbell was letting Agnew. He was letting Agnew know that what he was doing was bullshit. He was the entire thing. And then, by the way, at the end of that thing, old Agnew decleats somebody. Yeah. And guess who's on the sideline? Chaw the size of his jaw in and just go, that's what I'm talking about. That guy. I hope the Lions win.
Yeah.
I hope you guys win.
MCDC may not save Detroit, but he will save Hard Knocks because when Hard Knocks does the Detroit Lions this offseason, it's going to be must-watch television.
They film everything. Tom Brady's really good at football. We talked about that in the first hour. Demario Davis is moving to 10 minutes from now.
Here we go.
They asked to push it back. He's probably working out, by the way.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
That's right.
He'll be working out. We'll talk to him about Motor City Dan Campbell, by the way, because Motor City Dan Campbell is down at the Saints, assistant head coach. And I guess he spoke to the team every week, Tom Pelissero said. What is he like? Is this what he's like every single day? We'll talk to him about the Saints season, his season. I mean, there will be a great conversation with that. We're going to take some phone calls, AJ. We haven't done that all day.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go to Danny in Cincinnati. What's going on, Danny?
Hey, what's going on, Pat, boys? A to the J.
All right. That was pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty good. What's going on, man?
So I want to shift our attention up to UFC 257 this weekend.
Oh, it's gonna
I
crash.
think everybody's asleep on Dustin Poirier. This guy he has fought at such a higher level. He's got a Tom Brady type wealth of experience. Since 2016, this guy's fought 9 times, all top tier talent. He's 7-2. He's got 4 finishes of the night one performance of the night bonus. Conor fought 3 times in that same period. He's a great fighter. He's a better athlete. But plus 250 on Dustin Poirier is insane. You need
a lot of people are taking that bet, Danny. I appreciate that. And MMA Talk really does please our audience. I do know. That's something that really helps out the show. Danny, I don't know if I'm the one that should be speaking about it. I obviously like Conor McGregor just because I'm somebody that is not inside the MMA world, although I will watch every single fight that is on Saturday nights. I don't do the Wednesday, midday, or midweek cards. I apologize for that. But Saturday night, I'm laying around and there's nothing else on. No other football games or anything on that are. I will watch every single fight, but I don't want to know any backstories. Okay, I just want to go in there. I want to see who throws hands. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've always become a big Conor McGregor fan as a I don't want to say what's a new like a
casual.
Yeah, like a casual. What's the word? R-U-B-E. Is that a word?
Oh, rube. Yeah.
Is that a word?
Yeah, sure.
Is that offensive to anybody?
No. I mean, people might be calling you a rube if you're trying to talk about MMA.
There we go.
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get this thing tweeted to me about hockey, which I'm not. I'm a hockey aficionado. I am not what you guys. But I was worried that was potentially a very offensive. So I'm a rube when it comes to MMA, but I'll watch. You know what I mean? Conor made me like a fan of what was going on over there, which then led me to Dana White. Dana White is the guy that I am a fucking fan of. I am a fan of Dana White, just like I was a fan of Vince McMahon whenever he was back being an actual character on TV every single week. Dana White this morning, I think the big storyline of the press conference for us this morning, obviously Conor's at a lighter weight. Poirier looked very scared in the moment, but it could have been just him being chill and we don't know him or whatever. And he might win, by the way. A lot of people are saying exactly what Danny's saying about him. But Conor McGregor said during that time frame to Ariel Helwani that during that time frame he was at his absolute worst. He wasn't really taking fighting serious. Now he's on the complete flip side. He's got his entire team traveling with him everywhere. But Dana White, there is going to be no stolen streams this weekend. And Dana White fucking said that this morning.
A little bit with the piracy, the online streamers, they want to come after you and give this thing away. So any regret?
No,
kind of maybe stirring the pot a little bit?
I'm glad you asked me about that because we got one. We got him. We're watching this guy right now. All you have to do is turn it on Saturday, and we got you, fucker. Turn it on Saturday, streamers, and see what happens.
Dana White says, "Whoa, we got one." Now, every one of them, unless every one of them is thinking, is he talking about? He doesn't got. That's bullshit. He don't got me. But then what if you hit the street? You're rolling the dice. You were rolling dice. That's a great business move by Dana. And I'd assume that streaming is a big problem for them and for ESPN Plus, AJ.
Oh, streaming is a huge issue when it comes to fighting especially. But, man, I always just go back to, like, what if Roger Goodell had a little bit of that in him? Oh. How amazing would the NFL be?
Come on. Hey, we got you, fucker. And then somebody will ask him a question that he doesn't enjoy or whatever, and he will just bury the person. He will cut a promo on the person, and then next it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome. But I will watch this weekend, obviously. I think there's a chance Conor says he's got 4 fights left in his UFC contract. He'll do them all in the first quarter of this year if they let him.
Whoa.
4 fights, 3 months. Fuck it. Let's go.
I believe him. You see him show up shirtless, carrying his little son or one of his kids. It was awesome.
You believe him? He'll have 4 fights in 3 months? That's why. No. So he's just planning on knocking. All right, this is going to be a quick one. Knockout.
4 rounds.
All right, can we go next week? I'm still here. Got the Palace still. Rolls Royces are still in town. Got a yacht as well. Can we maybe just run this thing back again? And then if he's a free agent, which I would assume is what he's thinking about, you know, if you get 4 more fights, let's go. That money is going to be astronomical for him.
Besides getting beat up in a fight, like, hey, getting 4 fights out of the way and not having to do 6-week training camps every time is probably pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's like I should have twins if I want 2 kids, so I'm going to do the fucking baby thing right now.
Exactly.
But you can't really just do that. Just like I don't think you can just get 4 fights in 3 months. But if Conor McGregor does it, I'm fucking pumped for him. I am absolutely pumped for him. Let's get to the phones. Let's go. You know MMA, don't you? You hosted a mixed martial arts show.
Yeah. I did on Sirius for a little while. Yeah, I don't anymore.
Well, why don't you host anymore? You didn't know MMA?
No, I did. It was just I was doing other stuff on whatever, the Big Ten channel, NFL channel, other stuff on Sirius too.
Were they calling you a rube?
I was. I absolutely. I presented myself as a rube, as a novice that didn't know, as a casual fan that just really enjoyed the sport. I was no expert by any means.
You watching this weekend, and how do you feel Poirier's going to?
I mean, I like Poirier. I have no idea what they're going to look like, what Conor's going to look like. But, yeah, it's tough it's very tough to pick against Conor.
I bet on him when he was boxing Floyd Mayweather, actually. He lost, but I had faith. Ryan in Cleveland, what's going on? You don't just get that yacht from fighting for no reason.
No.
Okay? Like these marquee free agents everybody talks about, like, oh, I'm not paying one of them. You know why they're fucking marquee free agents? Because they've earned it. That yacht Conor's walking off of isn't just because he's some Joe Schmo out there. And by the way, that is a rube talking. So go ahead and remember that. Ryan, what's going on over there in Cleveland? Dog Pound's got to be barking in absolute happiness right now, wagging your tails and shit.
Yeah, I'm actually not going to talk about the Dog Pound. Just with the hiring of Dan Campbell there, and speaking of fighting, I was wondering who would win in the matchup then, Vrabel or Dan Campbell?
Shit. That's a great question, because now whenever Vrabel and Harbs almost got after it in Baltimore when the Titans did their breakdown on the Shield and Harbaugh went out there and said it was disrespectful, and Vrabel came out and did a okay. That led to a lot of speculation from shows, national shows, not regional shows, but national shows on which head coach would potentially stand a chance if Vrabel was just to line them all fucking up and just knock them out. Now you do have to potentially put Motor City Dan Campbell into the conversation. I still like Vrabes, by the way.
Yeah.
Just want to let everybody know, I still like Vrabes. But I would assume that MCDC is not going down without at least taking out an Achilles or four.
After a gallon of coffee, too, by the way.
Yeah, a gallon of coffee. Vrabes is going to have to get a couple cigs in and go for that thing. But we got some badass head coaches popping off right now, AJ.
That would be a real like Rust Belt gritty fight. And Dan Campbell is somebody that actually is similar stature to Vrabel. I mean, Vrabel's like 6'5", 6'6". He's super tall. Dan Campbell's a big old dude. It'd be a heck of a fight. I hope it doesn't happen because there's going to be a lot of bloodshed, but it would be fun.
Well, it sounds like with Dan Campbell, you get one shot, you better fucking kill him because he is in that thing. Like he'll fucking smash a beer bottle and stab Vrabel in the neck if he's not, too about his P's and Q's.
He said this team is going to reflect my personality and the city's personality. With what you just said, as a Green Bay Packers owner, maybe you start to think about the next couple of years all of a sudden, next 6 years. We have to get to a break because Demario Davis is going to be on the other side. We'll be back in about 4 minutes. Thank you, sir. We'll be back in about 4 minutes with Demario. What are you going to ask him? Anything cool? Do you have any ideas?
I don't know. I guess you have to stay by and come back to see if we do.
That's a tease. That's a tease. This is the Pat McAfee Show on Thursday, January 21st.
He's saying don't go off the top, it's too shallow.
All you're going to hear this stadium do is they put the big paw up, they start shaking it, they go, whoa. Hey, what things are going good, Yeah, he loves the defensive side of the ball. He said yesterday to me that this is a blue-collar team. They win it on special teams. They have 5 block kicks this season. The defensive side of the ball, Lynch leads the Big 12 in sacks. But also on the offensive side, Denzel Mims is an absolute animal. He is a weapon. Charlie Brewer, the quarterback from Lake Travis. His dad was a quarterback in Texas. Yeah. His grandpa was a quarterback in Texas. And the people here in Waco just so happen to get a chance to see Charlie Brewer on a daily basis. Okay. Hey. Yeah, Boomer here is going to mean a little bit different than what it means on the internet currently. And hopefully here in Baylor, they hope they're not hearing a lot of Boomer sooner. Everybody wants to be a punter, including quarterbacks. If I was a quarterback, I'd want to be a punter as well. 0 yards on that punt. That's an embarrassing situation. The Dak dance that gets on national television has led to a lot of losses, but you got to respect the hips being able to. What sign am I going to make for college game day? Well, I want to make something creative. I want to make something fun. No, to hell with it. I don't like OU. It's so thick. Look how thick that thing is. That's years and years of patience. You're headed right for the boat. Right now? Okay, let's do it. We are out here on the Brazos River, which you can take a boat to the game. One of the only stadiums in the country that you can do that. It's beautiful out here. A lot of people would say, this is the last time I'm going to be on game day. The last time I allegedly did what I'm about to do, I ended up in a jail cell. Let's go!
like Ric Flair. That was a sellout, by the way. That was beautiful.
Maybe other shirts?
Yeah, hold on. You need to go get changed before you get sick.
Great work, Russia. I'm actually not that cold. Hey, I went for it. My chest hurts.
It was like 5 feet. I was standing there. That's full commitment, by the way.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Welcome back to that show. It is 2:23 here in the Eastern Standard Time. I'm sure it's a time as well wherever you're at.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yep.
It is time.
Spoil the shit out of your dog with BarkBox. 2 toys, 2 treats, and a chew. It starts as low as $23 a month, and you get $60 worth of dog chews and toys in every single box.
Wow.
It's the best day of the month for our dogs is when their BarkBox arrives. The tails start to wag just a little bit more, the noses start to snoop around just a little bit, and then whenever they finally get their toy or their chew or their treat, they're elated, and their parents look like heroes.
Every time.
Join now and get a free extra toy in every single box this year. That's $60 worth of toys for free. Sign up your pup and get unique toys and snacks plus a free extra toy every single month. Tailored toys and treats shipped every month. Start now and get $60 in free toys. Unique toys, USA-made treats, free monthly delivery, and $60 in free extra toys. Jesus. When you go to barkbox.com/Pat. If Jesus had a dog, barkbox.com/Pat.
Oh, yeah. Every month.
Joining us now is a man who's been named All-Pro the last 2 years, an absolute freak athlete, and a stud for the New Orleans Saints defense. Ladies and gentlemen, Demario Davis. What's going on, man?
What's going on, people? What's going on?
Hey, I want to let you know there was a real discussion before you got on. Demario.
Yeah, Mario with D at the front. That's all.
Fucking right. Hey, pretty pumped up about what we figured out there, Demario. Normally, obviously, we're getting a chance to chat with a player of your caliber. We would talk about the season that was and everything like that. But after getting introduced to Motor City Dan Campbell this morning in the head coaching press conference that he had, and knowing that he was with the Saints all last year, I have to ask, is he like that all the time? Hey, did you get a chance to experience Motor City Dan Campbell? And what do the Detroit Lions have coming to the city?
Oh, man, they got a great one. Many times if Sean had something come up, Dan would have to run the meetings for us. And, man, he would always find a way to get us motivated, get us fired up. A guy that's played the game, that, knows how to speak players' language. And, he's always on fire, always ready to go. And, they're getting a great one. Really they are.
What's he like? I guess I know he obviously didn't coach you personally. He was the assistant head coach. Could you tell that he was being groomed to get another shot to become a head coach?
I don't know. He was the assistant head coach. And so when the head coach is, not there, he had to step in and run the ship, and keep the meeting going, give everybody the schedule and what's up for the day. And so I don't know what all goes on, behind the coaches on the coaches side, but whenever I saw him out there in front, he was always poised, he was always locked in. And I know him from a position coach, because linebackers have to go one-on-ones with the tight ends. He's always like it's like he about to play.
That's what it was this morning. Yeah, that's what it felt like this morning. I think Detroit is incredibly pumped about it. Let's talk about the Saints a little bit here. Obviously, you guys don't win it all, so 31 teams will have a failed season or whatever. You guys go on another playoff run. After that game, the story is not just that you guys had an incredible run and the defense was one of the main talking points this year. It's like, yeah, Drew Brees and the offense always have records and always talked about, but the Saints defense this year was dominant. And then after the loss to Tampa Bay, you've got a kind of a chance to maybe reflect a little bit on the year that was. What are your thoughts on the year that you guys had? Where do we need to take the next step to for the Saints to kind of make that next step and ultimately get to the top of Mountain Lombardi?
Yeah, man. It was, first of all, it was an incredible season. You know, it's extremely hard to win a Super Bowl. To even get to the Super Bowl is extremely hard. So you have to commend all the teams that are still in the hunt. I think for the past 3 years, we've been, you know, one of the most talented teams in the National Football League, and we haven't, you know, made it to that final game. Let alone been able to hoist the trophy. And so that just tells you how hard it is to win in this league. But definitely there's not a group that I would have rather been a part of than the group that I've had the opportunity to play the last few years, and especially this year. All the things that we had to go through, from, you know, COVID to, you know, off the field, things going on in the social justice space, and it's just been so many different dynamics and the different injuries we had to deal with this year. To a lot of top guys, and playing in a game where there was no quarterback. It was just a lot of different dynamics that went on this year. And when I really say that we have a family and we have a brotherhood that's unique, you know, this one is one that, you know, most time if you win a championship, you'll never forget that team, and all the other teams, they just kind of get lost in the mud together. But I think this year, specifically in 2020, is one that we'll never forget, just because of how unique it was. And so definitely disappointed that we didn't get to make it to where we wanted to be, but at the same time, I wouldn't trade it.
So the team is going to look very different next year, allegedly. Obviously, allegedly, everybody's talking about it. I guess this was talked about last year as well, and then another deal was done. But allegedly, Drew Brees made his final run with the Saints this past season, and it came out that Michael Thomas battled through a bunch of injuries because he knew this was potentially Drew's last hurrah. Was that something that was talked about? Because you look back at, like, the Baltimore Ravens when it was Ray Lewis's last year. It was one of those things where everybody knew it. They were trying to play, you know, for Ray. It was basically, I mentioned Jerome Bettis whenever he was with the Steelers, that whole thing happened. Was it, and it's happened in other cases where the teams haven't won the Super Bowl, by the way. Those are just the ones that kind of get out. It's alleged Michael Thomas was playing for Drew. Was there a feeling in the building like, okay, this might be the last one with Drew here, or was that ever a thought?
Well, I definitely think at the end of the day, only the one person knows what Drew is going to do, and that's Drew.
Okay.
It's always been that case. And so if you don't hear it come out Drew's mouth, then, you know, it ain't. You never know what's next. But I do think there was just a feeling in the building of our team, knowing that, you know, you only get so many opportunities for the window ultimate closes, and we have a team that was built to win now. You know, so I think everybody just kind of generally felt that it wouldn't have anything to do with, you know, one person. I just think it had to do with understanding that you only get you get limited opportunities in the game, and you got to make the most of them when you get them.
Were you guys aware of the fact that Jay Glazer went on before your game and said that this is Drew Brees' last game, most likely as a Saint, if you guys lose?
He just dropped that in the conversation, by the way. It was like, oh, by the way, Drew's last game, he's retired after this if they lose. Did you guys know that it happened on TV at all? Because that's how it all hit the internet. That's how everything, it just got dropped, and then everybody's like, oh, shit, Drew's retiring. Did you guys have any word of that?
No, we haven't heard any of that. Well, I didn't. You know, I didn't know about that. But, you know, at the same time, you know, you hear a lot of breaking news things that may or may not be real. And so until you see, like I said, until you see the man come on the screen and say, like, you know, I'm retiring, you know, you won't be able to believe anything.
Hey, why was the defense so good this year? You guys were studs this year. Your defense was awesome. And for a large part of the conversation, actually, or for the season, the conversation I was having on the NFC side is like the only team it feels like on the NFC side that has a defense that could go win a Super Bowl is the Saints. It was like the Saints defense, you guys this year, and probably in years past as well, but in this year it was showcased much more. I think what was it this year that really made you guys as dominant? Is there going to be, you guys get Quan Alexander, he gets hurt, he'll be back again next year, I guess. So what is the thought of the defensive side of the ball, and is there anything that made you guys take that big leap, or have you always been that way and the world just realizing it?
No, I think it's been a progression. I've seen the progression and since I've been there. I think number one, we have a really talented group. You know, you're just not going to perform great consistently if you don't have really talented players. And I think second, we have a really, really good coaching staff. Dennis Allen is one of the best I've ever been around. His ability to come up with strategies and tactics week in, week out, and to really lean on his coaches and trust them and the things that they put up has been phenomenal. The things that the level that AG was able to get the defensive backs to play at, and especially from a safety standpoint, you know, to be able to shape shift to top all those deep routes that you get, to be able to be one of the top teams in preventing explosive plays was phenomenal. And the things that Ryan Nielsen was able to do on the defensive line was just phenomenal. So, you know, as a linebacker, and you able to see the different complexities, because a lot of it falls on our plate. Like, you know, it's easy for the safeties to change something, but then it affects us in coverage that we ain't used to, or it's easy for the D-line to move over a gap, but then we the ones that have to adjust from the run standpoint to see it different. To see how well they coach those groups was just an amazing thing to see. And I think teams just couldn't get a beat on what we were doing defensively, because, you know, we playing quarters, but we playing it, you know, 8-9 different ways, and the same with 3. And when you got a talented group, you know, I think our defensive line is interior and exterior is just the best in the league. And when you got, you know, you get a chance to play with a guys that talented on the back end, we were able to bring in somebody like Malcolm Jenkins that gave us a lot of flexibility. You got Marshawn Lattimore. I'm telling you, when he's playing, he's locked in, he's the best in the game. And Marcus Williams is the best free safety in football. I don't care what nobody says.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. I feel like that's what you're referring to, though, about this group being tight. It's like, it feels like you guys have formed like that brotherhood family type thing, which will be interesting to see how the team goes forward if it has new quarterback, everything like that. You guys are so much fun to watch every single week. You have history.
You gotta talk about CD Deuce.
Hey, is that CJ GJ? Is that CJ GJ?
Yeah, that's CJ.
What does he do? Okay, so what is he? Is he just the best shit talker of all time? How does he?
All time.
All
time. I mean, it's been some, you know. I mean, but you got to put him in that category with like a Dennis Rodman. Like, he can rile some people up. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. But I mean, the words that he says to these guys, like, as a man, that's why they fight him. You have to do something. Yeah, he knows how to get up under people's skin. Because, I mean, if you go home with some of the words that he says to these guys, like, you're going to have a tough time sleeping tonight. Like, I probably should have hit him. You know, you got to be able to live with yourself as a man, listen to somebody talk to you like that, and then you just walk on and play the next play. Ain't happening.
Did he do that? So that happened in practice, too, allegedly, right? Him and Michael Thomas got in. Is he like that all day, every day? Or is it like game day, how you doing? We're going to go ahead and stir this shit up a little bit.
Game day is a different level. Mike and him were just competitive, and it took off.
Which happens.
No, game day is a different level. Game day is definitely different.
All right. Well, I mean, now I'm thinking back to the Bears guy that punched him, and another Bears guy that punched him.
Shot.
And there is a lot of people, and that's hilarious the way you're phrasing that. Like, you almost have utter confusion for the guys that don't punch him at this point. Is that what?
Man, it's an art. It's an art. He does it well. But at first I didn't know what he was saying. And then I walked past one of the conversations as they were having it. And I'm like, oh, now I get it.
That's incredible. We appreciate you for your time here. A couple more questions, if you don't mind. You have history with Tom Brady, AFC East, and now the NFC South. Whenever you play against a guy like Tom, what is it like? Why has he had so much success, you think? Obviously, the team around him, but him as a quarterback, what do you think it is about Tom that just, puts him basically on a different planet? There's other people on there, but he's on just a different planet of success in the NFL.
Man, it's just the GOAT. At the end of the day, it's just the GOAT doing what the GOAT does. Tom is he's hit a level that very few people in sports hit. He's in that Tiger Woods realm, that Serena Williams, the Michael Jordans, LeBron's now, Kobe, R.I.P. He's hit a realm that very few athletes in any sport hits. The Federers of the world. He's just.
Hey, good range there.
Yeah.
Hey, wow. That was good range right there. Yeah, I saw you trying to think who else was breathing that air that he's in right there. Yeah, I don't think anybody expected you to hit up fucking tennis. By the way, I don't think anybody expected you to do that. That was great range, man. That was awesome. But what is it about him? Is it just do you feel like, is there anything on the field that he does differently than anybody else, or is it just a consistency thing, or what do you think it is?
It's his ability to be mentally locked in to the game. It's his process. You can tell he has just a phenomenal process, the way he takes care of himself off the field. But he just locks into a space mentally that's just rare air. And you can see it. He's locked in. He's dialed in. You very rarely see him off the spot, And so I even think back to the first two games that we played him, and he's coming over learning a new offense, a new system, new division, just everything about his previous process that he had for 20-some years has been interrupted. And to see, when we played the first two times, I'm like, this isn't typical Brady. But then for him to be able to channel that and get it to mode to be able to lead his team to victory when we played him the third time, and frankly, from a defensive standpoint, I feel like, our third time playing him was probably the best time we played him.
Field position.
And so but he found a way to win. He found a way to swing the momentum in their favor and win the game. And so you just got to give him credit where credit's due. It's going to be an interesting battle to see him and Aaron Rodgers, who's another GOAT in the game. And so to see them do battle when Aaron Rodgers is at his hottest that he's ever been, or it has been in a long time, it's gonna be that's gonna be a good game.
Hey, cold as hell in Lambeau. Does that affect anything? What does that affect for you? Coming from hot ass Louisiana, and then you just get dropped into Lambeau. For instance, they're coming out of Tampa, dropped into Lambeau. Supposed to be in the 20s. I think there's supposed to be some rain or snow or something like that. Aaron's gonna be wearing that long john that he wears or whatever. It feels. What is it that makes it so hard to go from hot to cold? Is there a challenge, or is it all mental, you think?
Yeah, it's all mental. I think the best ones understand that the elements aren't a factor. It can't be. It can't afford to be a factor. It's just something that's different whether you playing in a hot game or you playing in a cold game. At the end of the day, you got to focus on your job, and you got to know how to get yourself to a place mentally to know how to do that at a high level. And I think statistically it may say something different, but I think as an individual, you can't. If you're thinking about the elements, you already lost the battle.
Hey, what about Sean Payton? I watched a clip where I saw Reggie Bush. They were showing some of your guys' post-game celebrations, which looked like a great time that you guys had to take down, I think, because of COVID early in the year, whatever happened.
You got a $500,000 fine or whatever. Yeah.
But Reggie said, that's not the Sean Payton I played for. We didn't have fun like that. I know you haven't been there back when Reggie was, but what's Sean Payton like now, and have you heard stories of what he was like before?
Well, I really don't know, but Sean is intense. I mean, Sean loves to win. And he's passionate about winning. He knows what it takes to win. And that's the reason why, though we haven't made it to the championship, I think Saints probably got the most wins out of any team in the league over the last 3 or 4 years or so. And I think it's a big part of that is Sean. He just knows how to win. But at the same time, Sean knows how to have a good time. He knows how to, when the job is done, he not like that during the week. He ain't doing all that. He locked in on the mission. But once it's very hard to win in this league, and that's the thing he always expresses to us, how hard it is to win, and that's why he wants us to enjoy the games when we do win. And so having the strobe lights and the smoke and the dancing, we call it Club Le Saint. The reason he does that, and the older guys who've been on other teams and haven't had a lot of success, they understand that it's very hard to win this league. I mean, look, we have the most talented team in my opinion, and we're at home. And so it's not that because we didn't put the work in or anything. It's just hard to win in this league.
Yeah.
And so when you do get a win, that's why we're gonna continue to enjoy and celebrate and kick back. And it was funny to see Sean do the gritty. Yeah. That shocked me. I didn't know he could. He definitely had been practicing on that.
For sure, just like Kirk Cousins was at the house. You know what I mean? You got to get that working. Connor, what do you got?
Yeah, Demario. Jameis Winston was able to come in and throw.
Stop.
Oh,
we had a full fucking conversation. We had a full. Yeah. Demario. Sorry. I'm bad with names and listening.
We just had a conversation about it.
Yeah, and by the way, we had a full conversation during the break about it, and he just refused to listen to being wrong.
Missed that as well. Demario, excuse me. Jameis Winston was able to come in and throw a touchdown against his former team on the play that you guys stole from the Bears. Was that something the team was a buzz about all week to hopefully, get Jameis in there to make an impact on the game?
I don't know if it was a buzz about it all week, but definitely everybody was excited when he got in and was able to do that. I mean, when you talk about a family environment, and it's something that's so unique. All of us like to see the other one succeed. And, in an alpha male environment, a competitive space, that's not always the case. But to see, him get in and make a play on his former team in the playoffs, knowing how big that was, and it was a big play in the game. And we saw the flag go up, and so we thought maybe it was a holding or a legal formation, but it was on them. And when it was a touchdown, man, we were all ecstatic. I think, just that excitement of seeing something that means so much to him coming to fruition, that was pretty cool.
So whenever when Chicago did that play against you guys, I watched it on Nickelodeon. Cameron Jordan, by the way, refused to get slimed by a child after the game, by the way. He was wearing a Hannibal Lecter COVID-19 mask, and our guy Lex Lumpkin was like, hey, I want to slime you. And Cameron's like, yeah, okay, have a good one or whatever. Good move, by the way. I would have done the same thing. But when Chicago runs that play and they throw it and they drop it in the end zone, and then you guys chose to use it the next week. Is it because when you guys watch it was like, how are we supposed to cover this? Or did you guys feel like it was a well-designed play, you think? That's why it got put in there? It's a copycat league. Everybody knows that. But as soon as that play happens, everybody go like, oh, we should probably put this one. How do you think the vibe of that getting into the play call happened?
That's Sean. That's a good. That would be a Sean question. He's phenomenal at doing that. He watches so much film. I've seen him do that a lot of times. The team will run a play and have success on us, and the next game is in.
We couldn't stop it.
And so, yeah, he knows how to manipulate defenses. And at least when the Chicago, ran on us, we had a guy in the vicinity.
Yeah.
They didn't even have anybody in the vicinity. It was like, oh my gosh, how do you get that open? And so, he just does that. And I've seen it happen on us. Really not much, but I've seen, like, we played the 49ers one time, we played the Rams, where they pulled one of our plays out on us. And when they do it, that's kind of humiliating. Like, you like, hold up, I've seen that play before. And so I know that was demoralizing to them to have that play, hit like that. But, they found a way.
Hey, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee this year. Thanks for all your incredible work off the field, incredible representation of the NFL, and your interview you just gave us was awesome. Thank you so much, Demario.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, man. You guys be blessed. Have a good one.
Hey, it's a big ass. Are you in a bathroom right now? Is that your closet?
No, just like a little outdoor, my kids' playroom.
Oh, ooh. Hey. You deserve it, by the way. You deserve it.
I appreciate you guys, man.
Hey, no problem. Demario Davis, thank you. Hell yeah. He's awesome. Mm-hmm. He was awesome. Let's pivot here because, AJ, I do believe something that the world would like to hear your thoughts about. Ted Thompson president, I believe, of the Green Bay Packers now. He passed away at the age of 68. He was the man that drafted you, drafted Aaron, obviously a staple of the Packers organization at this point, a fan-owned team with Ted Thompson representing a lot of it. He passes away out of nowhere, I think. Your thoughts on it when you read, did you know this was potentially happening? And what was he like for those of us that maybe didn't have a clue about him as a human as opposed to just the figure of the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, I saw the news. Obviously, Ted was the GM when I was there, and I think he left like a couple years ago. I think he still has a role, but he was gone, and his health was getting worse, I guess. And Ted's a unique GM and person in that role that he wanted zero publicity. Like he didn't want people to even. He didn't even want players on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Like he doesn't want anyone. He's like, hey, we're good. We got sold out stadium. I'm focused on building this roster, and that's all he cared about. And he never would flinch to any kind of outside anyone griping or saying he's doing something wrong. Like it didn't even enter his brain. So I was always really impressed by that. And he was like an 11-year vet, played special teams, and one of the monster that used to run down and blow up the wedge on kickoff. Like one of those gritty, tough dudes, super quiet, but yeah, highly respected. Yeah, rest in peace. Thanks for all your work for the Green Bay Packers. Mm-hmm. I assume owner of the Packers, Ty Schmidt. That's Kevin Green first. Mm-hmm. Now, this is Green Bay Packer. It seems like Green Bay Packer fan base here is taking some hits here.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know if any, you see a lot of people saying, go win one for Ted. I assume a lot of these guys, it does have an impact. You do because he drafted a lot of the guys that are on the team still. So I assume, they were hoping that he'd be able to be there to kind of see them see it through. But it's tough. What are you going to do? Rest in peace, Ted. Appreciate everything you did for the game. Cheers. There are some breaking news here, 247, 248. FanDuel is live in Virginia.
Oh, wow.
Kind of came out of nowhere, by the way. I think whenever FanDuel is trying to get into a state, there's a lot of politics at play. There's a lot of conversations at play. Mm-hmm. There's regulators. There's all this stuff. FanDuel is live in Virginia. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. Can't wait for you to continue to bet alongside us or to bet alongside us. Virginia users only at FanDuel right now. LeBron or Giannis to score a point tonight, plus 100.
Whoa.
$50 maximum, just to score.
Right. Jeez.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Free money.
Only in Virginia. Shout out to Virginia. I also have an odds boost this weekend that I like a lot. And I do believe there's another state that's coming on live very soon.
What?
Yeah, Motor City, Dan Campbell's new home. Michigan's about to come on live tomorrow, I believe.
Here we go.
So we're starting to gain steam here. We're starting to pick up a little bit more team members that we can all bankrupt them sons of bitches at FanDuel. Woo! If LeBron or Giannis score 1 point tonight, plus 100 odds, it means even money. $50 max bet. They're giving you $50 FanDuel in Virginia.
Free money.
AJ, you want to take a couple more phone calls? What do you want to talk about? You have anything we haven't talked about that you're like, you know what? I think people need to hear what I got to say about this?
I can't really think of anything now. Maybe a caller will refresh my memory.
Oh, I like that. Let's go to Gator down there in Texas. Yes. Gator, what's going on, Gator?
What's the deal, Pat and the boys?
Hey, Gator. It's great to hear from you again down there in Houston. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, man, let's get back on that shit show, though. Back down in Houston where old preacher boy is still there.
What's that all about, Gator?
Well, see, it all started with the Kubiak era, man. They started getting butting some heads of ownership, and what do you know? What? They're gone. And all of a sudden they go to Denver and win a Super Bowl. Them and old Wade Phillips, son of bum. And all of a sudden we want that Patriot way. So we bring in old Billy O. And we've been chasing that Patriot way for years. And that shit don't work if you ain't got Tom Brady.
Bingo. Great call, Gator. Let's go to Cowboy Dave, also in Texas. Cowboy Dave, shit. What's going on?
Pat, AJ, boys, Mr. Smothers, good to talk to you. There's only one reason to call the show on this day.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron Rodgers may have worn one of the greatest shirts, my newly beloved Aaron Rodgers, I might add, might have worn one of the greatest shirts in Pat McAfee Show history with the Tombstone reference. Say when?
Talk about it.
Well, he knows what Dan Campbell just told the NFL, the NFC North, the AFC. He said, the law's coming. I'm coming. You boys are done. Tell them I'm coming, and hell's
coming with me. Boy, Cowboy Dave, I've never seen that movie, but I do know the quote. Dan Campbell shook some shit up this morning, AJ. I mean, there's no way the Lions have ever been the conversation starters going into championship weekend in last 30, 40 years at this point.
Never.
I mean, it is. That press conference was wild, AJ.
And was it like 2.5 hours long, too?
Hey, they had 5 more questions, about 1 hour.
Yeah.
And we only got time for 5 more questions, they said. It's like, damn. Let's keep it going. Tommy in California. What's going on, Tommy?
Hey, thanks for the pickup on the call there, Pat. I'd like to say hi to the boys. AJ, question for you is what your thoughts might be on, with Nick Sirianni being the new head coach over in Philadelphia, what your thoughts on Matt Eberflus being the head coach over in Houston and maybe keep J.J. Watt around for a little bit longer?
Oh, this is a Houston Texan fan. It sounds like Nick Sirianni officially becomes the Eagles head coach today, offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. He obviously is in the coaching staff alongside Frank Reich. Frank Reich and Carson Wentz had a great relationship. Maybe, hopefully, in Jeff Lurie and Howie Roseman's eyes, Nick Sirianni will be able to do to Carson Wentz what Frank Reich allegedly was able to do, even though they're dealing with 2 very different Carson Wentz, I think, at this point. Yeah. What's going to go with Jalen Eberflus, defensive coordinator for the Colts. You lose both coordinators if you're the Colts. That's an interesting spot to be. Is Eberflus a guy down there, AJ? I've not heard that.
I mean, I don't know is he like a front runner for the Houston job?
I've not heard that. By the way, I have not heard a single front runner, right?
No. I don't even know if he's interviewed.
Yeah, I guess that's all Caserio is worrying about right now is getting a head coach and getting the staffing in there before he deals with Deshaun Watson. Let's see who's the head coach or whatever. It's very interesting how that all plays out. I understand there's only 32 gigs or whatever, but you're going into a fire pit. Like, if you have a chance to have options after another year or you had other options, why is that the place you jump into? You know, I don't know if you would. I just don't know if you would.
Is there a chance they're waiting for Dable to finish it in Buffalo and then hire him?
Oh, bring him down.
Yeah.
And if you're Dable, by the way, you definitely want to get into New England Patriot bullshit immediately.
Absolutely.
Right?
Dable already said he's staying in Buffalo.
So Dable got interviewed probably and said, I ain't fucking doing that. All right, I'm going to come right on back with these Bills boys. Let's go to Scott in Virginia. Congrats on FanDuel becoming live in Virginia. Scott, make a bet. What's going on, bud?
That is what I'm talking about, boys.
Hey.
Finally, here in Virginia, we got some FanDuel. And so, Pat, I need to know, what is the first thing I should do? Hammer down on. I need help, brother.
Hey, Scott, I got you. There's a bet on FanDuel right now in Virginia. LeBron or Giannis to score 1 point tonight. Even money, $50 max bet. Scott, you're going to be undefeated, pal, if you go ahead and do that over there in Virginia. Let's go to Gus in Oregon. Well, maybe, unless the boys get cold.
Yeah, you never know.
Unless the boys get cold, you never know.
Tweak a hammy.
Who's not playing?
Gus in Oregon, what's going on, pal?
Boys, I'm jacked up right now. After listening to Motor City Dan Campbell, 1,000 gallons of coffee every day, I had to make a second pot. I'm about 3/4 of a gallon in, and the left side is feeling mighty tight right now.
Attaboy, watch that hard over there, okay? Because as watching Dan Campbell, you kind of saw him kind of drift out of his coffee high during that press conference so long. I assume as soon as he got out of there, he said he's taking his jacket off, his tie off. He's taking a pot to the face and going to work for them. I'd assume you're going to have to do the same thing maybe in about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know. But, Pat, before my 7th cup, I was going to come on and kiss your ass and make my case for Fitzmagic getting in the Hall of Fame over Phil. But you know what? Fuck that. I want my damn respect.
Yeah, okay.
I called last Friday, gave you a lock on Drew Brees, throwing 2 picks and Tom Brady retiring Drew and his noodle arm. Yeah. And you shrugged it off and mocked me in front of your regional audience of 30,000 people.
No,
like you want.
I didn't do that, guys.
Oh, you did. Play it back.
I did not do that.
Nope. Put down the coffee, pal. Relax.
You're 7 cups in. This guy's intoxicated. Guys, I apologize for that. I should have bet on the, yeah. We only got a minute left. Did he say that? If he did, what'd I do? I mocked him? He said Tom Brady's going to retire?
I remember.
I actually bet on the Bucks. I thought it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Seems like a lie.
There you have it.
It might have been true, though. I mean, who knows? I might have been like, oh, Gus, shut the fuck up.
Well, you did listen. You took the Bucks.
I did take the Bucks, yeah.
Gus.
Ooh. Yeah.
Caveman. Motor City Dan.
That guy's awesome. All right, this has been the day that we got introduced to Motor City Dan Campbell. AJ, 30 seconds left here on Sirius. You got anything to say to them?
No, today I'm okay.
Whoa. Tomorrow, though, that's a tease.
I got something tomorrow.
Yeah, Good Friday tomorrow, going into championship weekend in the NFL. Conor McGregor's fighting. We have Ariel Helwani joining us tomorrow. Other guests, other phone calls, other conversations. We can't thank you enough for choosing to join us every single day. Chris Mad Dog Russo, Mad Dog Unleashed is on in about 6 minutes. Should have started earlier there. Only gave myself 30 seconds to talk up Chris Mad Dog Russo. That's tough. I'll learn. We don't know how all of you fared last weekend on the games, but one thing we do know is when participating in the great sport of betting, it's critical to stay cool, calm, and collected. Whether it is honing in your focus when doing the pregame research or just staying under control around the wife when you have a good chunk of your account in her account riding on a money line for a team. Canadips is here to help. Our goal is to make you a better man and allow you to have the maximum value this January and close out the year in the green or at least under the radar with your extracurricular tendencies around football season. Their tins are here to help. So go get your perfect dose and pick up some CanadipCBD.com and use promo code LIPBOOMERS for 20% off this week. Their richest discount around, solely available for people watching this show. Wow. No spitting, no guilty conscience, just full lips of Humboldt County's finest CBD and all natural flavors. We care about your chaw doggies out there and don't want men to have to put down the can for good. It's just time for a new can, time to evolve your dip, time to be smarter. So join us in Canada dipping and go to CanadipCBD.com and use promo code LIPBOOMERS for 20% off this week. More jingle in your pocket. Ooh. So just in case you happen to have lost, now you're saving money elsewhere. You might be robbing Peter to pay Paul, but hey, doesn't matter because Paul is getting the money.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's CANNADIPS, CBD.com. Use promo code LIPBOOMERS, LIPBOOMERS, for 20% off this week. Also, stay tuned to Canadips Reads next week. They're kicking off the biggest giveaway in the company's history.
All right.
And by giveaway, they mean massive competition in the spirit of football season.
Oh, let's go.
Okay.
I did not read that ad before going live there.
Sure.
That was a different approach in an ad right there.
Yeah.
I appreciated that out of the Canadips. I also appreciate the fact that it feels like you're chewing still, but you don't have any of the terrible shit tobacco brings alongside it. It's actually the complete opposite.
Yeah, this stuff is great, and lo and behold, they're now giving out winners. So, I mean, what's not to love?
What's going on? I mean, how could you not enjoy Canadip CBD? I dented the shit out of this tin, with a hockey stick. You've been watching any of the NHL, AJ? I'm a hockey aficionado. You got any questions?
I have caught a little bit of it. Who do you think, other than Pittsburgh, who do you think is a tough team this year?
Doesn't matter.
Why?
Because they're nameless, faceless opponents whenever the Pittsburgh Penguins step on the ice. I would assume the Vegas Golden Knights potentially going to be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
I assume they're going to be a problem because if their goalie gets hot especially. But that's hockey talk. We have some breaking news. Raheem Morris has been named to defensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Rams. D coordinator from the Rams was hired as head coach of the Chargers. Now Raheem Morris, interim head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, goes to the Los Angeles Rams to become defense coordinator. Congrats to Raheem. Yeah. He was in conversation for the head coaching role for the Atlanta Falcons. They moved on to Artie Smith, whose father founded FedEx or something like that. He was also the offense coordinator for the Titans. Now Sean McVay gets his defensive coordinator, a man who has head coaching experience, seemed to have turned them boys down in the Atlanta area around this past season. They stunk. Then they won some games when Raheem Morris was there. Good for them. I think that's a good hire.
Yeah, well, what's the good thing about it for him, for Raheem coming in, the Rams defense was legit. I mean, up until the last game, they got him knocked out. Like weren't they like multiple categories? Weren't they the number one defense?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Aaron Rodgers versus number one defenses in a lot of different things. And obviously that got changed around. But Aaron Donald, a guy who was so pissed off that they lost that he actually cried in a game in which he played with torn cartilage in his rib cage or whatever. Then you got Jalen Ramsey, who is unbelievable. Yeah. Plus you got a lot of that defense is going to be good. The Rams, what are they going to do on the offense side of the ball? They pay the quarterback they don't like.
Uh-oh.
Yikes.
In the wolf. You have to be careful. Do you think, are the Ravens looking at these kind of situations like, all right, what if we give Lamar this super long deal? Who other quarterbacks What other guys do you think are in that category right now?
Well, so that are about to get a big deal. Dak potentially, Lamar potentially, but Harbaugh came out and said something about him being rewarded or something, handsomely or something. Yeah, like something along that. So all this is going to happen. You just got to hope that the Goff situation doesn't happen, or the numerous other situations that have happened whenever you pay a quarterback and it doesn't work out. I think Dak obviously is very obvious what he has meant to that Dallas Cowboys offense for the last couple of years, but they've never really gone on any runs where he's been incredibly talented. They're going to pay him. They've paid everybody down there in Dallas. How do you build a roster? If you can't manipulate the salary cap in a fashion that other people can, maybe you'll be in a little bit of pain there. Baltimore, I believe they do well with the roster, I think, so that place should be okay, but there's some places that have no idea what they're doing. You just dump money. Oh, we're fucked. We have no money. Sorry. Can't do it. Why aren't you winning? Well, we didn't have enough money to build a team. Well, where'd the money go? Everybody has the same amount of money. Well, we paid 5 people all the money in the world. And it's like, well, this is on you then, not on somebody else. Very interesting time.
That's an accurate description of how the NFL works, I think.
Yep. You always have an excuse. Well, we paid. We didn't have the thing. It was like, well, what happened? Everybody else fucking did it too. Well, they had different set of circumstances than what we had. Nope. Same exact fucking thing. Same exact thing. They actually paid their quarterback $500 million, and they figured it out to pay Chad fucking Henne as the backup. So it's unbelievable. AJ, not a bad show today. I appreciate you joining us, man.
Thank you, man. I will be back tomorrow. Who are the big guests tomorrow?
We have Ariel Helwani.
Ooh.
What's that?
What time is he coming?
I think it's a 1 o'clock hour. You want to join us for that one?
No, I'll watch it though.
Perfect.
You don't need me there.
Perfect. And we have 2 massive guests as well.
yeah.
Feel Good Friday going to championship weekend. We can't thank you enough. Hammer Don is in about 27 and a half minutes right here at youtube.com/the Pat McAfee Show. We got up to like 36,000, so we'll give away 18 grand to commenters today. Thank you so much. Yeah! That's a lot of fucking people, and I'm very thankful for it. Okay, we were pumped whenever we had like 5,000, 10,000 people watching. The fact that 36,000 people were spending an afternoon with us on a Thursday live at one point, probably near 300,000 total viewers, which is very, very ridiculous, and we can't thank you enough. Should, at least say thanks in the fashion that we can, so we'll give away $18,000. Shout out to
I'll step up.
Zito, who will pick the winners from the comment section. At Viva La Zito is the Twitter account.
Here we go, Z.
Also, promote the...
Are we doing a hashtag with that? Because once this is over, I'm pretty sure it's hard to get.
Okay, so what do you want the hashtag to be?
Ooh, hashtag promote the vote.
Hashtag promote the vote. Hashtag promote the vote, yeah. If you're watching this, go tweet at me, at Viva La Zito, hashtag promote the vote. You will automatically be entered into winning some of the $18,000 that we'll give away. Just like we gave away $25,000 last week, $18,000 this week. You get some money, you'll get some money. And if you don't win this time, you'll get some money eventually. Keep it going. We appreciate the hell out of you. We will see you in about 27 minutes with Hammer Don and tomorrow with another show. Can't thank you enough. You're the fucking best. Cheers. Let's go.